Chapter 5240 Impossible. The emperor of the underworld dragon clan roared furiously, but after the roar was over, there was a howl of pain. Puff! One of his arms was cut off by Shishi's sword. It doesn't matter that much, use the 10,000 Dragons' Nest. The human sovereign powerhouse of the underworld dragon clan let out a terrifying roar after having his arm cut off. His roar frightened the other strong men in Longyu. If he used the 10,000 Dragons' Nest, wouldn't the Longyu be sunk? However, following the order of the powerful people of the Minglong clan, countless dragon nests lit up, and at that moment, the powerful people in the dragon domain panicked. The Wanlong nest is the war weapon of the dragon clan, and it is also the most terrifying war fortress. Once activated, the power can destroy the world. The 10,000 dragon nest of the dragon clan is so powerful that most of them are revealed, mainly for deterrence, and rarely use its power. And here, it is the center of Longyu. If Wanlong's nest is used here, Longyu will be the first to suffer. After this battle is over, everyone will not have to go through it. Stop! When the human emperor powerhouse of the Minglong clan gave the order, many dragon nests lit up and entered the fighting state. All the dragon clan powerhouses panicked. To stop them, they also need to dispatch Wanlong nest. The final result is still to destroy Longyu. Just when they were anxious, there was a roar in the distance. Boom! I saw a jet black arrow with a length of Zhang Su piercing through a 10,000 dragon's nest, and the lit runes of the 10,000 dragon's nest dimmed in an instant. Boom boom boom. A series of jet black arrows flew out from the center of the Dragon Blood Legion. Guoran was holding a golden crossbow and shot out the arrows. In front of them, it was like paper paste, and was penetrated in an instant. Wanlong's nest was pierced through, and the runes all over his body were momentarily depressed, and then fell from the air like that, hitting the ground hard, making a heaven-shaking explosion. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of Wanlong's lairs were penetrated and lost their ability to fight. At that moment, both the enemy and the strong were stunned. The Wanlong nest is a powerful weapon of the dragon clan, almost impossible to destroy, but Guoran's actions overturned their thinking. Come on, keep going. I still have more than 570 hell arrows. If I run out, you may win. Guoran waved a dozen black arrows with both hands and shouted loudly. The raw material for this arrow comes from Hell's evil spear, but the weight of Hell's evil spear is too scary. If all of it is used, Guoran will not be able to hold these arrows at all. Most importantly, it is too heavy, and his giant crossbow will also can't afford it, can't launch. These arrows, only the sharpest part of the arrow, are all made of the material of the Hell's evil spear, and the rest are made by Guoran with other immortal gold to increase its speed and power. The evil spear of Hell has a fatal destructive power to all the laws of the world, especially the defense laws, just like cutting tofu. The evil arrow of Hell that Guoran had just created was still in the embryonic stage, and it could already penetrate the defense of Wanlong's nest. However, Guoran is deliberately fooling people. The arrows in his hand are actually all in stock, and he has no time to make more arrows. But Guoran's words frighten the other party. Who would not be afraid of such a terrifying arrow? Once Wanlong's nest is destroyed, they will have no chance to escape. Puff puff. While Guoran was showing his power, the Dragon Blood Legion was killing wildly, and a large number of strong dragon clans fell in groups. Everyone was shocked to find that, at some point, the Dragon Blood Legion changed from being surrounded to anti-siege, and began to fight back. Anti-guests are the main force, encircling and suppressing the strong dragon clan. Puff! At this moment, there was a loud bang in the distance, and then everyone saw that a blood hole appeared in the chest of the blood-spitting Minglong clan king powerhouse, and he was severely injured. Puff! Suddenly, in the void, a golden divine radiance flashed, and the heads of the emperors of the Minglong clan soared into the sky, and the corpses were in different places. Then that golden radiance slowly turned into the shadow of Bai Shishir, and even Long Chen was amazed by this blow. Long Chen had never seen Bai Shishir perform this trick before. Obviously, this should be a new trick she just learned. When the emperor of the Minglong family died, his henchmen were in chaos. They had no intention of fighting and rushed out one after another, trying to escape through the encirclement of the Dragon Blood Legion. However, the Dragon Blood Legion had seen a lot of this kind of situation, and they had already prepared for it. Facing their impact, the Dragon Blood warriors broke out with all their strength and waved their long swords. Puff puff. At this time, it is no longer a battle, but a massacre. The dragon warriors who have lost their fighting spirit are like a group of lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Harvest. When the first wave of impact failed, this group of dragon powerhouses suddenly despaired. They knew that if they didn't seize this opportunity, they would never have another chance. Don't kill us, we're just following orders. We were threatened by the Dark Dragon clan and had to do this. We were also forced to do so. We are all of the same race, why should we kill each other? Give us a chance to reform ourselves. Seeing that they could not break through, and the only thing to meet them was the judgment of death, these dragon powerhouses panicked, and some half-step human emperor-level powerhouses even put down their weapons and knelt down and begged for mercy. Dean Long Chen, they are all bewitched by others. At this moment, an old man among the strong dragon clan stood up and tried to persuade him. Snapped. As a result, before he finished speaking, Long Chen's figure flickered, and he slapped the old man's face. The old man was sent flying by the slap, fell into the crowd, and passed out directly. The dragon powerhouses were furious. The old man had a very high status in the dragon domain, and he was also a human emperor powerhouse. Long Chen's attack on him was equivalent to slapping the face of the entire dragon domain. Long Chen looked at those who glared at him and said, "A person who is bewitched and a person who is not bewitched, they will stab you with a sword, and the pain will be the same. In troubled times, kill the virgin first. It is you group of so-called good guys who have polluted the will of the Dragon Clan and bent the backbone of the Dragon Clan. Since your love is so overflowing, why don't you live and die together with them? If you have the courage, then I have the determination to fulfill you. Do you want to give it a try?" Long Chen's voice was cold, and no one dared to doubt his determination, because he really dared to do this. For a while, those dragon powerhouses all shut their mouths. And the moment they shut up, the Black Dragon Clan, Red Dragon Clan, and other powerhouses looked at Long Chen again, with a little more admiration in their eyes, because when they were going to fight to the death with the Dark Dragon Clan, it was them, the Peacemaker, came out to stir up trouble and disturb people's hearts, and finally developed to the current embarrassing situation. Long Chen's decisive personality made them feel hooked in their hearts, and they had long looked down on this group of indecisive and benevolent guys. Do not. Seeing that no one interceded for them, the trapped dragon warriors screamed in despair. However, the dragon blood warriors were as hard-hearted as they were, and they struck mercilessly. After half a stick of incense, all those who made the move before were killed suddenly. The screams and begging for mercy stopped abruptly, and the world was silent. Chapter 5241. With the last scream, a nine-veined heavenly sage was beheaded by the dragon blood warrior with a sword, and the entire dragon domain was instantly quiet. In the sky, there are countless 10,000 dragon nests floating, including those lackeys who follow the Nether Dragon clan to fight against the dragon domain. They also drive 10,000 dragon nests, but they dare not make any changes. Because Emon Yen's golden crossbow had already aimed at them, let alone fleeing, they didn't even dare to drive Wanlong's nest, for fear that Guoran would shoot at them the moment the rune lit up. The earth has flowed into rivers of blood, endless dragon corpses piled up like a mountain, and the entire dragon domain has almost turned into a purgatory. The terrifying appearance made even those human emperors feel their souls tremble. With a wave of his hand, Long Chen collected all the dragon corpses, and the scene was immediately cleaned up, but the bloody smell in the air could not be eliminated immediately. The dragon blood warriors put their swords back into their sheaths one after another, and walked behind Long Chen, looking coldly at the people around them. Their faces were calm, as if nothing had happened. That kind of indifference, even the strong emperor those who feel creepy. The traitors who made Long Yu extremely headache and resentful were killed by Long Chen, and the rest of them were just a group of small shrimps. It can be said that Long Chen wiped out the traitors of the Long clan in one fell swoop. What the Dragon Field failed to do, The Dragon Blood Legion completed it with a wave of hands. The bloody means made people feel frightened. At the same time, the experts in the dragon field finally realized a little bit. That is, Long Chen didn't come to command them. From the eyes of Long Chen and the Dragon Blood Warriors, it can be seen that they didn't take them seriously at all, because they themselves were too sentimental. Not to mention, there is still a terrifying double-veined Emperor-level Golden Rhino. The Dragon Blood Legion alone has enough strength to flatten the entire dragon domain. You must know that in this war, Long Chen can't even hold a finger. I haven't moved. At this time, the Black Dragon Clan, the Red Dragon Clan and other human Emperor-level powerhouses gritted their teeth and said nothing. They felt a great shame. Long Chen violently commanded the Dragon Clan, and perhaps they could accept it. But Long Chen and others told them with indifferent eyes that the Dragon Clan was not worth being commanded by them at all, which was a silent humiliation. Long Chen looked at the powerhouses who were with the Nether Dragon Clan and saw them looking out from the 10,000 dragons' nest with pale faces, like death row prisoners waiting for trial. Long Chen said coldly, "Don't worry, I won't kill you, and I don't bother to kill you, and you don't have to thank me, because your lives are earned by yourself. As I said, I only kill those who make a move. If you don't make a move, you can leave at any time." As soon as Long Chen said this, those dragon powerhouses were overjoyed. Their lives were finally saved. Thinking of the corpses of those powerful human sovereigns and half-step human sovereigns lying on the spot, they were already in despair, and now they were saved from desperation. Countless people shed tears of excitement. It's not that we want to betray, and we don't want to be traitors, but we have no choice. A strong dragon clan cried loudly in the Wanlong nest. As soon as the dragon clan strongman cried, countless people were silent about it, and they didn't want to be traitors, but this was all the decision of the patriarchs. As disciples, they couldn't resist at all, and they couldn't even decide their own destiny. Don't you have a choice now? Fate is always in your own hands. Don't say stupid things about people who can't help themselves in the arena. If you have the chance to win this battle, and victory is just around the corner, will you hold back from swinging the butcher's knife? If the patriarch betrayed, you must follow suit? Knowing that it is wrong but still following the wrong? Now that you have the ability to distinguish right from wrong, you must have the courage to face mistakes directly, otherwise, don't talk about innocence. When they besieged the Dragon Blood Legion and the Dragon Blood Legion was at a disadvantage, did you ever think about the concept of right and wrong? Besides the Bailong clan, who else has justice in their hearts? What a big joke! Get out, I might change my mind after a while, and you'll never be able to leave. Long Chen sneered. Long Chen's words instantly made all the Dragon Clan feel ashamed, including many experts of the White Dragon Clan. Although Bai Yingxue launched a call, and the patriarch of the Bailong clan also showed their weapons to show their support, there are still many elders in the Bailong clan who think this is too impulsive and want to try their best to stop everyone. Now, what Long Chen said completely slapped them in the face. When did the Great Dragon Clan become a fool? Don't even have your own opinions? After Long Chen finished speaking, Wanlong's nest slowly left one after another. These strong men left as if they had lost their souls. This meant that they had been expelled from the dragon realm, and from then on, they could only wander outside. No more home. When these traitors left, the 10,000 dragons lair above the 9 heavens receded slowly. At this moment, the patriarchs of Longyu looked at me and I looked at you. They didn't know what to do for a while. They wanted to say something, but they didn't know what to say. The atmosphere was extremely awkward for a moment. The patriarch of the Red Dragon Clan glanced at the patriarch of the White Dragon Clan. The patriarch of the White Dragon Clan immediately understood what he meant. He looked at Bai Yingxue. Bai Yingxue pretended not to see the patriarch's wink. She hated the current dragon realm very much, and felt that the dragon clan was no longer what it used to be. What is the difference between a dragon clan that has lost its backbone and a loach? During the entire breathing time, no one spoke, and the time passed extremely long, which was a kind of torment for the dragon powerhouses. In the end, it was Long Chen who spoke. "Yingxue, take me to the Dragon Emperor altar." Bai Yingxue nodded and led Long Chen forward. The Dragon Blood Warriors followed behind them. Other dragon powerhouses gave way one after another. There is nothing in the way. And the dragon blood warriors passed by these dragon patriarchs without even looking at them, which made the dragon clan embarrassing and angry, and at the same time deeply helpless. In the end, they could only silently follow behind the Dragon Blood Legion. They wanted to see what Long Chen wanted to do. When passing through the center of Longyu, there is a huge altar here. The altar is dilapidated. 3 of the 4 stone pillars have only half of them left, and only one is relatively complete. Although it was dilapidated, it was cleaned spotlessly. Obviously, someone cleaned and wiped here every day. Seeing this scene, Long Chen's cold face eased a little. I haven't forgotten my roots, maybe there is still salvation. Long Chen said lightly. Long Chen's words immediately made the faces of all the dragon powerhouses burn. It was no different from a slap in the face. The Minglong clan betrayed the Dragon clan, and they were expelled from the Dragon clan in the Dragon Emperor era. The whole clan chased and killed them, but they came out of the same domain as the Minglong clan. How is this different from forgetting their origin? Accompanied by Buying Shue, Long Chen walked up to the altar. When he came to the center of the altar and saw a totem ball, a familiar aura made Long Chen's heart beat wildly, and he became excited instantly. Senior, I finally found you. Chapter 5242. The totem ball was 10 feet high, with endless dragon patterns carved on it. The dragon patterns were like flames, like auspicious clouds, and the runes had already dimmed and had no breath. But when Long Chen saw the totem ball, he felt a familiar aura, which was exactly the aura of a strong dragon clan. To this day, Long Chen has confirmed that the Dragon Clan powerhouse who has been helping him is the Chaos Dragon Emperor enshrined by the Dragon Clan. Although Long Chen always felt that this mysterious senior of the Dragon Clan must have an amazing background, he never thought that he turned out to be the totem of the Dragon Clan's faith, the Chaos Dragon Emperor. Before Long Chen came to the totem ball, his heart couldn't help beating wildly. The last time, the Chaos Dragon Emperor lost the news after transmitting power through the air to help Long Chen escape. Qian Kuan-ding said that the Chaos Dragon Emperor fell into a deep sleep because of that consumption, and the totem ball has the breath of the Dragon Emperor. He may be able to wake up the Chaos Dragon Emperor through the totem ball. Long Chen stood in front of the totem ball for a long time, and slowly stretched his big hand towards the totem ball. Seeing this scene, all the strong Dragon Clan were shocked. Long Chen don't. Even Buying Shue let out an exclamation and hurriedly grabbed Long Chen's hand. What? Long Chen was taken aback. Are you going to use your own dragon blood to summon Lord Dragon Emperor? Buying Shue asked. Long Chen nodded, and Buying Shue said solemnly, this altar has been abandoned for too many years, whether it can be used or not is already unknown. In addition, to activate this totem ball, the power of blood needed to be consumed is unimaginable. In history, our dragon field has gathered the dragon blood power of all the people in the clan 3 times, but we still can't light up all the runes, and even sacrificed countless strong people. You can't light up this totem ball by yourself, and the strong suction of this totem ball may suck all your dragon blood dry. It's okay, I want to give it a try. If it doesn't work, I will stop. Long Chen comforted. But even if you light up the totem ball, the altar is broken, and it is still useless. At that time, it will be a waste of effort, and even your life will be in danger. At this time, the patriarch of the Red Dragon Clan said. At this time, in his words, there was no longer the arrogance before, and his tone became sincere. Long Chen didn't respond to him, and slowly stretched out his big hand towards the totem ball. At this moment, the breaths of all the dragon powerhouses became rapid in an instant. Stop! At this time, the patriarchs of the major dragon clans shouted angrily at the same time. They gritted their teeth, and their faces flushed. What do you mean? Do you think you can stop me with your strength? Long Chen raised his eyebrows, his eyes were cold, and he waved his hand. Boom! There was a loud explosion in the distance, and the golden rhinoceros showed its real body, opening up the sky and the earth, and the vast imperial power radiated. Even the powerful human emperor felt extremely uncomfortable in the face of this coercion. Long Chen, you misunderstood, they are. Buying Shue became hesitant for a moment. At this moment, The scene became extremely strange, and the powerhouses of the Bailong clan also showed embarrassment. It seemed that they could no longer stand on the same side as Long Chen in this matter. Guoran and the others were also stunned. What happened to this group of dragon powerhouses? Bai Yingxian stood up suddenly, gritted her teeth and said, "I'm not afraid of making fun of you if you say it. Lord Dragon Emperor is our spiritual pillar, but it is rumored that Lord Dragon Emperor, if you understand." Long Chen understood in an instant. They felt that the Chaos Dragon Emperor had already fallen, and they didn't dare to try to call the Dragon Emperor. After experiencing the previous failures, they felt that Lord Dragon Emperor might have really fallen. Therefore, as long as the altar and the totem ball were still there, they still retained a trace of fantasy, and this fantasy was the motivation to support them. They hoped that Long Chen could activate the totem ball, but they were also afraid that Long Chen could activate the Dragon Chen ball, because if the Dragon Emperor really fell, they would completely lose their courage and faith. Their hearts are extremely contradictory. No matter how powerful the Dragon Clan is, the Chaos Dragon Emperor has always been their spiritual pillar. If the spiritual pillar collapses, they don't know how to live. Long Chen shook his head and said, "Your attitude is really disappointing. In this world, as long as there are tangible things, they will eventually be destroyed. Only intangible things can last forever. The most precious wealth passed down by Lord Dragon Emperor is not blood, not supernatural powers, but the Dragon Clan's indomitable spirit of overcoming obstacles, and the iron will of never admitting defeat, rather than bending. If Lord Dragon Emperor is really gone, haven't you thought about carrying on the old man's behest, shouldering the heavy burden he once carried, and leading the Dragon Clan to glory again? You only want to enjoy the shade under the big tree, but you have never thought that one day you will become a big tree, sheltering others from wind and rain. You are too selfish and cowardly. Ask yourself, are you worthy of being the Dragon Clan of the King of Beasts?" Long Chen's words, like thunder, exploded in the ears of all the dragon powerhouses, making them dizzy, and every word was like a heavy hammer, hitting their hearts. When did the great Dragon Clan, the proud Dragon Clan, become so cowardly? If the Chaos Dragon Emperor is really gone, will they not be alive? If Lord Dragon Emperor falls, will there never be a new Dragon Emperor in the Dragon Clan? Don't we even have the courage to carry the banner for the Dragon Clan? What are we afraid of? Are you afraid of death? No. Are you afraid of failure? Probably not. Then why is there such an emotion? They finally understood that it was inferiority. After the Dragon Clan lost the Chaos Dragon Emperor, they began to feel inferior. Their so-called pride was just to cover up the inferiority complex in their hearts. Long Chen's words ruthlessly tore away their fig leaf. They had no anger, only endless shame and self-blame, feeling ashamed of their ancestors. Bai Yingxian and the others also lowered their heads in shame. They were worried about gains and losses, and finally found the reason for the decline of the Dragon Clan, because in the endless years, they lost their backbone and courage. I can tell you with confidence that Lord Dragon Emperor has not fallen, he is still alive. Long Chen said. Really? Hearing Long Chen's words, all the strong Dragon Clan were full of blood and excited, and some even had tears in their eyes. For them, this was the best news ever. However, I don't know if Lord Dragon Emperor will drive you out of the Dragon Clan if you are so bear-like. Long Chen said coldly. As long as Lord Dragon Emperor is still there, even if we unworthy descendants are expelled from the Dragon Clan, we have nothing to say. It's all because we are useless. The old man of the Red Dragon Clan said excitedly. Long Chen nodded. Looking at their attitude towards the Dragon Emperor, Long Chen felt a little more comfortable. He slowly stretched out his big hand, stopped drinking, and the power of the dragon's blood exploded. Ball. Chapter 5243. In the palm of Long Chen, the Emperor's blood seal appeared. When the Emperor's blood seal appeared, the strong people present felt a tremor in their souls. Even the strong human emperor could not help but tremble all over. At that moment, they looked horrified. Long Chen didn't make a move before. They didn't know how strong Long Chen was, but they thought that he could control the entire Dragon Blood Legion, and he must be the strongest among the strong. But they didn't expect that the cross in Long Chen's hand still carried a trace of imperial prestige. At that moment, they felt that their souls were suppressed, and they couldn't resist Long Chen. If Long Chen made a move in the previous battle, then the Minglong clan and all the traitors would be killed instantly without even a chance to resist. Only then did they understand how terrifying Long Chen was. Thinking back to when they decided against Long Chen's commander-in-chief, this idea was simply too funny and too self-indulgent. How could they have the qualifications to let Long Chen be the commander-in-chief? When Long Chen's hand was pressed on the totem ball trembled violently, and the endless runes on the totem quickly lit up. At this time, the dragon blood in Long Chen's body was like a flood that opened the gate. Buzz buzz, Long Chen's dragon blood was crazily injected into the totem ball, and countless dim runes on the totem ball lit up one after another. In less than a few breaths, most of the runes on the totem ball lit up. When they saw this scene, all the powerful members of the dragon clan were stunned. According to historical records, the dragon domain gathered the power of all the dragon clan in the whole region, and at most one time only about 90% of the runes were lit up. Seeing that victory was just around the corner, countless dragon clan powerhouses died of depletion of blood, but still failed to fully activate the totem ball. And Long Chen activated most of the runes in the totem ball with his own power, which made them dumbfounded. Perhaps he can really activate the totem ball and communicate with the Dragon Emperor. The Emperor of the Black Dragon clan's voice trembled with excitement. Buzz! The totem ball kept shaking, and the runes lit up one after another. The dragon blood in Long Chen's body was also rapidly consuming and soon bottomed out. At this time, the runes on the totem ball had been activated. 80%. Let's do it together. Seeing this scene, Guoran and the others walked up to the altar at the same time, injecting the power of their own dragon blood into the totem ball. With the support of the dragon blood warriors, the runes on the totem ball began to light up one after another. However, the lighting speed of everyone's dragon blood power can't be compared with Long Chen's power at all. When the dragon blood of the dragon blood fighters was rapidly consumed and nearly exhausted, the runes on the totem ball were lit 9 times. To make hands on, at this time, the powerful human emperors of all clans in the dragon domain stepped up, replaced the dragon blood warriors, and poured their own dragon blood into the totem ball. Buzz buzz. The dim runes of the totem ball became less and less, and when the last rune lit up, all the powerful dragon clan present cheered in unison. Boom! The totem ball trembled violently, and the entire altar shone brightly. At that moment, the entire dragon realm was also trembling, and the dragon's power was surging. Countless dragon powerhouses, feeling the dragon's power, fell to their knees one after another, shouting chaos. The name of the Dragon Emperor, worshipped devoutly. Long Chen pressed the totem ball with his big hand, and suddenly a huge suction force emerged. Long Chen's body trembled suddenly, and he appeared in the endless sea of stars. The sea of stars is endless, floating beside Long Chen. The place where Long Chen is located is actually on top of a huge dragon head. The dragon head is so huge that it can be worth tens of millions of stars. Looking back, the dragon body is deep into the sea of stars. No tail visible. The huge dragon's head floated in the sea of stars. Long Chen saw huge chains piercing into its body. The other part of the chains sank in the darkness, locking it firmly in the void. Seeing this scene, Long Chen let out a terrifying roar. The Dragon Emperor he respected in his heart was actually trapped in the void. This endless sea of stars turned out to be a prison. He couldn't accept this fact. He gritted his teeth and rushed to the chain closest to him. The chain was thick, and Long Chen was as small as an ant in front of it. The body of the chain was almost as thick as the dragon domain. Long Chen punched the chain violently. With a loud bang, Long Chen was almost shaken out of his wits, and he flew out backwards. For a while, the world was spinning, and he didn't know where the world was. It's been so long, your temper has not changed at all, you are still so reckless, when will you become more mature? At this time, a familiar voice sounded in Long Chen's mind. Long Chen was struck by lightning. Hearing this voice, his nose was sour, Tears almost flowed down his face, his voice choked with sobs. "Senior, is that you? I miss you very much." The strong dragon clan accompanied Long Chen from the mortal world to the fairy world, witnessed Long Chen's growth with his own eyes, and taught him the supernatural powers of the dragon clan. That time in order to save Long Chen, he exhausted his strength and fell into a coma. Now seeing the appearance of the Chaos Dragon Emperor, Long Chen felt like a knife piercing his heart. "Don't say such nasty words," Dragon Emperor said angrily, but after he finished speaking his tone changed and his voice became softer. "Yes, your strength is getting stronger and stronger now. What is rare is that you are still that boy. Senior, how did you get trapped? What do I need to do to rescue you?" Long Chen looked at the endless chains and the energy surging in the darkness in the distance, gritted his teeth and said, "Stupid boy, you can't help me now. By the way, how did you appear on the territory of my descendants? According to my previous calculations, you should not appear here." The dragon strongman said, "I asked him to come." At this time, the voice of Qian Kuan-ding came. Eventful, hearing the voice of Qian Kuan-ding, the voice of the strong dragon clan became indifferent in an instant. "There's nothing to do about it. The identity of Long Chen's 9-star descendant has been exposed, and soon Brahma will send someone to hunt and kill Long Chen. Moreover, Xieyu has already begun to wake up, and the changes in the heavens have fluctuated violently. Taking advantage of the chaos in the sky, waking you up at this time will not attract the attention of the other party." Qian Kuan-ding said. Hearing Qian Kunding's words, the strong dragon clan fell silent. After a long time, he said, "De Brahma, the bastard who deceived his master and exterminated his ancestors, has he recovered now? Shouldn't be there yet, otherwise his avatar would have been walking in the world long ago. However, his followers are all over the 9 heavens and 10 places. It shouldn't be long before his avatar will appear. By then, the end of Longchen will come, so I must wake you up." Qian Kuan-ding said, "If this is the case, we still have time. Longchen, you summon Xieyu in, I want to meet it." The strong dragon said. Chapter 5244. Why do you want me to come to see you? Or you? Why do you dislike me? Dragon Bone Evil Moon hasn't appeared yet, but its voice has already passed. "You don't know me?" said the strong dragon clan. "It's so funny as if I must know you. Are you famous?" Long Gu Xie said disdainfully. The strong dragon clan was silent for a while, and said to Long Chen, "Forget it, this is an idiot. Don't pay attention to it, let's talk about ours." "You fart, you are an idiot, your whole family is an idiot." Dragon Bone Xieyu was furious, and its figure appeared behind Long Chen. When the Keel Evil Moon emerged, the whole world trembled violently, and the chains tied to Dailong's body seemed to be pulled by some force, and began to vibrate non-stop. Seeing this scene, Long Chen was startled. These chains seemed to have a certain relationship with Dragon Bone Xie, and they actually felt a sense. Keel Shiyue appeared, and it seemed to have sensed the problem. It looked at these chains and seemed to be lost in thought. Why is this breath so familiar? It seems that it really doesn't remember anything. The dragon race expert said to Qian Kuan-ding. With its character, it won't pretend, so I'm sure it doesn't remember anything. Qian Kuan-ding said, "Hey, what are you two talking about? If you want to say it, make it clear, or keep your mouth shut. Do you remember? What exactly are you talking about?" "I am Dragon Bone Evil Moon from Tianwu continent. Is there anything I don't remember?" Long Gu Xie was furious and shouted angrily. "Forget it, you have nothing to do, you go back." Qian Kuan-ding said, "You." Keel Shiyue almost didn't come up in one breath, and it cursed angrily. "Stuffed up? Let me come over first and then let me go back? Is it interesting to call me around? Is there something wrong with my brain?" After Keel Xie finished cursing, her figure disappeared in an instant. This is a different dimension. Their consciousness can come here, but their real bodies cannot be presented. After Keel Xie left cursingly, the dragon race expert said, "Long Chen, this guy is a very dangerous existence. Do you think you can control it?" Long Chen was taken aback. He seemed to feel that Long Gu Xie's identity was not simple. Before Kunding asked if Longu Xie remembered it, now the Chaos Dragon Emperor also asked it the same question. Obviously, they may exist at the same time. Otherwise, there would be no such question. Existence at the same time as Kunding and Chaos Dragon Emperor, what is going on? Is the current Xie Yu still the Xie Yu he is familiar with? Now hearing the question from the Chaos Dragon Emperor, Long Chen responded directly without thinking. It is my closest combat partner, I can entrust my life to it, I have absolute trust in it, and we will help each other, there is no mastery. Shut up, what kind of intimacy, don't say such disgusting words. Just after Long Chen finished speaking, Kiel Xie's roar came. You eavesdropped on us? Long Chen was furious. Whoever wants to eavesdrop is not allowed to mention Lao Zi's name again. After Dragon Bone Xie roared again, its aura completely disappeared. It turns out that Dragon Bone Xie also has a small mind. It kept a careful eye and left a trace of energy in this alien space to listen to what they said. It thought that Kunding and Chaos Dragon Emperor were going to say bad things about it. So want to hear it. As a result, Long Chen's words made it goosebumps, and he couldn't hold back and yelled at him. His scolding shocked Kunding and Chaos Dragon Emperor, because this guy eavesdropped, and they didn't even notice it. To any abnormality. Fortunately, they didn't say anything that was not good for Longu Xie, otherwise it would be bad, but what they didn't know was that Long Chen's words completely affected the future of Longu Xie. Kunding and Chaos Dragon Emperor confirmed it carefully, and after confirming that Dragon Bone Xie could no longer eavesdrop on their conversation, Chaos Dragon Emperor said, since you have made such a choice, we have nothing to say. Qianding recognizes you as the master. I will pass on the dragon's magical powers to you. It means that we have placed all our bets on you. If you trust it, then we will trust you too. Thank you, Senior. Long Chen said gratefully. Now that your identity has been exposed, you will definitely be hunted down by Brahma's lineage. At the same time, you have to be careful of Tianye's lineage. The two of them are working hand in hand, one bright and one dark, extremely sinister. Although you are strong now, the 9-star hegemony body you cultivated has completely deviated from the original route. If you are compared with the 9-star disciples in the era of chaos, and they are both 8-star warriors, then with your strength among them, you can only be regarded as above average. You need to spend more time researching and perfecting the 8-star battle body, but you don't have to worry. After entering the wilderness, I will guide you to find my Imperial Blood Reverse Scale and give you a chance to breathe. Chaos Dragon Emperor said. Fight for a chance to breathe? Long Chen was stunned. The Chaos Dragon Emperor said, the law of heaven and earth has changed, and the energy distribution is uneven. More than 90% of the energy of the Emperor's sky is concentrated in the depths of the wilderness. So, that is the real dragon pool and tiger den. You still need to continue to improve, and the realm must keep up, otherwise, you will not be able to subdue Ni Lin by then, and I am afraid that you will not even have the power to protect yourself. Long Chen's heart trembled when he heard it. It was the first time he had been with the Chaos Dragon Emperor for such a long time, and it was the first time he had heard it tell him so earnestly. It seemed that the danger in the depths of the wilderness was far beyond his imagination. I can solve my affairs by myself. Don't worry, Senior, I won't be lazy, but you. Looking at the endless chains around him, Long Chen felt inexplicably bitter. It was the Chaos Dragon Emperor, who was trapped in here. Being humiliated in this way makes one's life worse than death. You don't have to worry about me, take care of yourself first, practice hard, you have to walk step by step, you have to eat food bite by bite, you can't act too hastily. Chaos Dragon Emperor said. Don't worry, when I reach the 9 Heavens Peak, I will definitely make them pay in blood. Long Chen gritted his teeth. He also knows that the current him is completely powerless to save the Chaos Dragon Emperor, and he is not even qualified to intervene, because the existence that can trap the Chaos Dragon Emperor is beyond his imagination. Long Chen felt so powerless for the first time, he secretly vowed that after returning he would work hard to improve and try to help the Chaos Dragon Emperor get out of trouble as soon as possible. Good boy, you have always been my pride, go. As for my descendants, forget it, I have nothing to say to them. The Chaos Dragon Emperor finally let out a helpless sigh. These descendants of Longyu are extremely disappointed. Long Chen nodded, and suddenly the world in front of him disappeared. Long Chen's consciousness returned to his body, and he returned to the front of the altar again. Boom! When Long Chen's hand broke away from the totem ball, the entire altar collapsed instantly. Chapter 5245, Failed. When the ball of the totem collapsed and the altar collapsed, at that moment, all the human emperor powerhouses of the Dragon Clan seemed to be hollowed out at once, and those powerhouses of the older generation didn't even have the strength to stand. With support, they were about to fall down. At that moment, the expressions of all the powerful dragon clans suddenly darkened. This was a fact they could not accept. Everyone swears to Lord Dragon Emperor with their souls that today's events must not be passed on to anyone else. Long Chen said coldly. As soon as Long Chen's words came out, the spirits of those dragon powerhouses were shocked, and the voices of the emperor powerhouses of the Red Dragon Clan trembled. You mean? Swear. Long Chen didn't say much, but responded coldly. Although Long Chen didn't respond positively, they had heard the implication and swore to Lord Dragon Emperor with their souls, which meant that Lord Dragon Emperor was still alive. Others don't move, all the emperors, the half-step emperors collectively swear blood to Lord Dragon Emperor. The elders of the Red Dragon Clan shouted. Following his order, the strong men of this level did not hesitate to draw a symbol with the blood between their eyebrows. The symbol burned and the blood oath was completed. They looked solemn all the way, not daring to show any disrespect. When the powerhouses of this level complete the blood oath, their consciousness spreads out and locks on every disciple present. As a high-ranking person, there is absolutely no problem with their loyalty, otherwise, they would have been hooked up by the Dark Dragon Clan long ago. But this group of young disciples couldn't guarantee it. In order to keep this secret for absolute safety, the disciples' blood oath must be completed under their supervision, and they dare not be careless. Seeing this scene, Long Chen nodded slightly, being careful not to make a big mistake. Although the Chaos Dragon Emperor didn't say anything, Long Chen felt that the less people knew about this secret, the better. Among the Dragon Clan, the Chaos Dragon Emperor represents the supreme belief. In the past, their confidence was shaken because they thought that the Chaos Dragon Emperor had fallen. Now that they know that the Chaos Dragon Emperor is still alive, they absolutely dare not show any disrespect to it, let alone disobey it. Against its will. When all the blood oaths were finished and the patriarchs of the Dragon Clan looked at Long Chen again, there was no longer any previous vigilance and suspicion. Long Chen could light up more than 80% of the runes of the totem ball alone. Explain his relationship with the Chaos Dragon Emperor. At the same time, they no longer dared to have any dissatisfaction with Long Chen because of his status as a human race. At the same time, they invited Long Chen to enter the Wanlong nest of the White Dragon Clan to discuss important matters. Seeing that the matter here came to an end, the Dragon Blood Legion returned directly to the Golden Chariot. They were too lazy to take care of the affairs of the Dragon Clan, while Long Chen, accompanied by a group of powerful people from the Dragon Clan, went to the 10,000 Dragons nest of the White Dragon Clan. After entering Wanlong's nest, Long Chen was invited to take a seat, and Long Chen was not polite, so he just sat on it. For a while, all the emperors and powerhouses stood respectfully. Long Chen didn't speak, and for a while, the scene was extremely awkward. These human emperors were all the heads of the clan, and they were usually arrogant, but now facing Long Chen, they were trembling, and they didn't dare to breathe. The patriarchs looked at me and I looked at you, but they didn't dare to transmit the sound, they could only wink at each other. In the end, the patriarch of the Bailong clan had no choice but to stand up and say, Dean Long Chen, I don't know how Mr. Dragon Emperor is. How is he now? When this sentence was asked, everyone present was nervous. They looked at Long Chen together. At that moment, their hearts forgot to beat. It's in a very bad situation, it's trapped. Long Chen said, What? When hearing this news, these human sovereign powerhouses were shocked and angry. The Great Dragon Emperor was actually trapped. Regarding the Chaos Dragon Emperor, Long Chen didn't want to say too much. He just needed to tell everyone in the Dragon Clan that the situation of the Dragon Emperor was very bad. Could you be more specific? The Emperor of the Red Dragon Clan couldn't help but ask. What's the use of going into details? Do you expect you to rescue Lord Dragon Emperor? Look at how your Longyu is operating now. You can't even solve a traitor, and you still have the face to ask so many questions? Long Chen's expression changed. Cold, almost pointing at their noses and yelling. Hearing Long Chen's words, all the human emperors and powerhouses of the Dragon Clan were suddenly ashamed, and they wanted to find a crack in the ground to get in. The traitors of the Dragon Clan finally need the human race Long Chen to clean up. This is simply a great irony, and it also gave the Dragon Clan a severe slap in the face. Seeing that all the powerful emperors were silent, Long Chen said with a gloomy expression, "You just need to know that the Dragon Clan can no longer be immersed in the glory of the past, and the era of lying on the ancestors' credit books is over. The signboard of the Dragon Clan can no longer scare people." Do you know how many monster clans are rising rapidly, thinking that it is time to reshuffle the cards, to surpass the Dragon Clan, replace the Dragon Clan, and dominate the demon world? You live in a corner. Yelong is arrogant, unable to resist the erosion of the Brahma Pill Valley, and unable to deal with the conflicts from within the Dragon Realm. Seeing your situation, the Dragon Emperor doesn't even have the desire for me to tell you a word. Do you know why? Because the old people feel ashamed of it. Its descendants are actually a group of useless people like you. Is the current Dragon Clan still the old Dragon Clan? Today's Dragon Clan has become fish and meat, and everyone wants to share the food, but you don't know it. In order to fight for the boss of the Dragon Domain, you have a lot of fun. I seem to be so proud. As long as I have the capital to be proud, the key is, do you have it? Originally, Long Chen didn't want to scold people, but the more he talked, the more angry he became. Although he is not a member of the Dragon Clan, he has the blood of the Dragon Clan flowing in his body, inheriting the supernatural powers of the Dragon Emperor and the will of the Chaos Dragon Emperor. Therefore, seeing this group of guys, Long Chen was full of fire. The Dragon Clan, that is the sacred clan in Long Chen's heart, the God clan that looks down on the 9 heavens and the myriad worlds. In the mortal world, that is the supreme existence in the mythology. Long Chen was rescued by the Chaos Dragon Emperor several times, and he has already regarded the Dragon Clan as his own clan, but the current situation of the Dragon Clan has disappointed him greatly. Being scolded by Long Chen, the saliva was sprayed on the face, but this group of human emperors did not dare to say a word. On the one hand, it was because Long Chen had met the Dragon Emperor. God's will. On the other hand, what Long Chen said made it impossible for them to refute. Thinking about the internal friction these years, they were all ashamed and deserved to be scolded. Seeing the silence of the crowd, Long Chen took a deep breath, tried to suppress the anger in his heart, and calmed down his voice slightly. I see that there are not many new generation powerhouses in Longyu, and there are even fewer of the Destiny Sons. Instead, the Bailong clan dominates. What's going on? Principal Long Chen, our disciples heard that there are our ancestors in the depths of the wilderness. They didn't obey orders at all, they all ran away. The human sovereign powerhouse of the Red Dragon Clan had a look of anger and helplessness on his face. Chapter 5246, They All Ran Away? Long Chen was taken aback for a moment, then nodded and said, "It's not bad. The disciples of the Dragon Clan have more backbone and bravery than I imagined." As soon as Long Chen said this, the Dragon Clan king powerhouses present flushed with embarrassment, and at the same time were amazed by Long Chen's wisdom. Long Chen could basically guess the situation of Longyu after only listening to one sentence. It turned out that when Bai Yingxian brought the Bailong family back to Longyu, she released Long Chen's picture jade for everyone to see. When they learned that the ancestors of the Dragon Clan were in the depths of the Great Desolation, they immediately prepared to set off to the depths of the Great Desolation to find their ancestors. However, their actions were blocked by the senior officials of the Dragon Clan. The reason is that the things mentioned before are nothing more than the reliability of the news, whether it is a trap, whether Long Chen and Brahma Pill Valley have ulterior motives, etc. At that time, the top powerhouses of the younger generation were immediately furious. They had had enough of the internal friction of the top dragon clan and the endless intrigue. Even though they knew that the depths of the wilderness were endlessly dangerous and that they might never return, they would rather die in the wilderness than waste their youth in boring internal fights. At that time, hundreds of thousands of Longyu disciples almost rebelled. Facing the obstruction of the high level, they directly put on a fighting posture and said directly, "You must either let me go or kill me on the spot." In the end, the senior members of the Dragon Clan had to give in and let them go. In fact, Bai Yingxue wanted to go with them, but he always remembered Long Chen's promise that she would wait for Long Chen to arrive. At that time, the top powerhouses of the younger generation of the entire Dragon Clan were only left with their group, so Long Chen basically did not see many younger generation disciples participating in the previous battle. To put it bluntly, the younger generation of disciples have also been disappointed with the high-level people. They would rather die than leave this environment, otherwise, they will not find the meaning of their existence. In Long Chen's words, the young disciples of the Dragon Clan are much stronger than these old guys. They risk their lives to leave their comfort zone, which requires more than just courage. Faced with Long Chen's ridicule, these human sovereign powerhouses still kept silent, not because they didn't want to, but because they couldn't. After all, looking back on the past, they were too stupid. If we could unite as one from the beginning, work hard to improve, and not create internal conflicts, the current Dragon Clan would definitely not be what it is now. Dean Longchen, what are your plans for the future, or what instructions do you have for our Longyu? The patriarch of the Bailong clan asked tentatively. The patriarch of the White Dragon Clan is full of wisdom. With these words, he quietly asked the Chaos Dragon Emperor if he had any instructions for them. Longchen shook his head and said, "You don't need to test it anymore. Lord Dragon Emperor is very disappointed with your behavior." He originally wanted to say something, but in the end, he only left a sigh. "You can make up the picture yourself." Long Chen's words shook everyone's body, and their hearts were pierced like a knife. Obviously, they disappointed Lord Dragon Emperor too much. Thinking of Lord Dragon Emperor's sigh, they wished to apologize. President Long Chen, since Lord Dragon Emperor did not leave any instructions, can you point us to a way? As long as you point it out, we will do it, even if it is to go through fire and water, and be smashed to pieces. The patriarch of the Red Dragon Clan, stand up and grit your teeth. Even if you order us to attack Brahma 8 realms, we will leave immediately without frowning. The patriarch of the Black Dragon Clan followed suit. We are the sinners of Longyu, please give us a chance to redeem our sins, even if we die, let us do something for Longyu before we die, otherwise, how can we have the face to meet the ancestors of the Dragon Clan zone? For a moment, these powerful human emperors looked sad, and the sigh of Lord Dragon Emperor completely made them repent. They hoped that they could do something for Longyu in their lifetime, and they could not continue like this. Seeing this, Long Chen's heart softened. This group of human emperor powerhouses are actually bloody brave men. Long Chen sighed and said, "Not bad, you guys are just stupid, not bad." As soon as Long Chen said this, everyone couldn't help laughing bitterly. Your words don't seem to be a compliment. I can accept a person's stupidity, but I can't accept a person's badness. If you can have this awareness, I think you can still get along. Long Chen said. Long Chen's words made everyone dumbfounded, but it also made them feel more at ease. They obviously felt that Long Chen was less indifferent and more friendly. At this time, he finally understood Long Chen's identity. He was able to communicate with Lord Dragon Emperor, which meant that he was a direct disciple of Lord Dragon Emperor. Before they resisted Long Chen's commander, it was really stupid to think about it. How long have your disciples been away? Long Chen asked. It's been 5 days. The patriarch of the Red Dragon Clan said with shame on his face. Thinking about it now, when they almost met the disciples in battle, they couldn't help but feel ashamed. They even thought, at that time, whether they were possessed by the devil, how could they do such a stupid act? That's okay, you pack up and chase them together. Long Chen said. What do you mean? Everyone was shocked. There is no need for Longyu to exist anymore. In the past, altars were the hope for the future of Longyu, but now, they are the hope for the future of Longyu. To protect them well is to protect the future of Longyu. At this time, do I need to remind you anything? Longchen asked back. Exactly. At this moment, everyone suddenly realized that the altar had been abolished, and there was no need for them to continue guarding Longyu. Their greatest task was to care for the growth of these disciples, and they had made up for it. After understanding Longchen's meaning, the patriarchs of all clans immediately called all the strong men and began to pack their things. When they heard that they were going to leave Longyu, the entire Longyu was in an uproar. They have lived here for generations, and suddenly let them leave, and their hearts were full of reluctance. But even if they were reluctant to give up, the patriarch had to follow the order. Fortunately, there were enough Wanlong nests in Longyu, and they were big enough for them to complete the move. After tossing and tossing for a whole day, they finally cleaned up. All the strong dragon clans stood on the 10,000 dragons' nest, looking at the familiar environment, thinking that they were about to leave and might never come back, and many of them burst into tears. Even the powerful patriarchs couldn't help but feel uncomfortable seeing this scene. Longchen stood among the crowd and said lightly, "Think about those warriors who resolutely rushed into the wilderness for their dreams and for the future of the dragon clan, knowing that there was little hope of surviving. How did they feel at that time?" As soon as Longchen's words came out, the hearts of the dragon powerhouses were shocked, and they followed Longchen's order. Boom! The golden rhinoceros pulled the golden chariot and slowly marched into the depths of the wilderness. Countless dragon nests followed behind the chariot, and the dragon clan began a large-scale migration. Longchen was in the chariot, looking ahead. His blood began to heat up. "De Huang, here I come." Chapter 5247 Boom. The golden rhinoceros pulled the golden chariot forward slowly, and countless 10,000 dragon nests followed the golden chariot, slowly moving forward. Longchen didn't let the golden rhino speed up. Longchen gave enough time for the experts in Longyu to bid farewell to their homeland. Parting is sad, but it must be experienced. Here, the dragon realm has no future, and they must move forward bravely, otherwise, the entire dragon clan will lose their future. They left first? Longchen learned from Bang Xue that after Feng Yu and Hu Xiaoyu came to Longyu, they left directly after resting for a few days. This startled Longchen. He thought they would stay here and wait for him, but he didn't expect that they left Longyu earlier than the dragon clan's arrogance. Bang Xue looked at Longchen with a hint of sadness in her beautiful eyes and said, "Feng Yu said, you can pull her once or twice, but you can't pull her forever. If you want to become stronger, you need to rely on yourself. She said that she wants to become a strong person like you. You can bet your life to become stronger, and she is the same. She said that going to the wilderness would be more dangerous than good, and she would rather block her life and fight for the road to become a strong man than do nothing for a lifetime. After that, she will revitalize the Rongsho clan and create a safe and secure environment for the Rongsho clan. Foundation. If you lose, you will die, and you will have nothing to complain about. As long as you fight for it with all your strength, you will have no regrets. She asked me to say sorry to you. Maybe I will never pay you back, but she will remember you forever." Speaking later, Bai Yingshu's beautiful eyes were moistened. This was Feng Yu's confession to Longchen, and it also touched the weakest part of her heart. She could fully understand Feng Yu's mood at the time, and also admired this ill-fated woman. Feng Yu came from a humble background. Not to mention her, the entire Rongsho clan was not recognized by this world. Feng Yu is a strong woman. She doesn't want to be protected for the rest of her life. If she can be protected, what about her clansmen? You can't tie the fate of the Rongsho clan in Longchen's hands. This is too unfair to Longchen. Longchen has no obligation to bear the burden of the fate of the Rongsho clan, and she doesn't want herself to be a burden on Longchen. Therefore, she had to leave. She had to go all out. For herself and for the Rongsho clan, she had no way out. Hearing Bai Yingshu's words, Longchen didn't speak for a long time, but finally he let out a long sigh. How easy is it to change one's fate against the sky? Even if he is as strong as him, he is still struggling on the line of fate, and will be overthrown at any time. Longchen deeply understood Feng Yu's mood when she left, and also knew the helplessness in her heart. Long Chen felt sorry for this supersized beauty, but he couldn't help her at all because he was busy with himself. We can only wish her luck here. Long Chen sighed. I can understand her very well. In fact, my mood is very similar to hers. Bai Yingxue looked at Long Chen, bit her cherry lips lightly, and said softly, but fortunately, you have such a deep relationship with the Dragon Clan, and fate has bound us together. Otherwise, I will leave you like her. Otherwise, my dependence on you will become stronger and stronger. Scares me. Although Bai Yingxue only met Long Chen twice, but for some reason, Long Chen has an irresistible charm that makes people get close to him, rely on him, and trust him wholeheartedly. Feng Yu didn't want to hurt Long Chen. She chose to face the test of death alone. If she were to change places, Bai Yingxue didn't know if she had her courage. Therefore, when Feng Yu left, Bai Yingxue gave her the most precious Tianlong Baoyu, which was the inheritance token of the Bailong clan, and was given to her by the patriarch himself when she returned to Longyu this time. This precious jade contains the heavenly dragon's precious energy. It is the strongest body protection artifact of the Bailong clan. Bai Yingxue secretly gave it to Feng Yu, and even the patriarch of the Bailong clan didn't know about it. But she told Long Chen, because she didn't want Long Chen to worry too much about Feng Yu. Hearing that Bai Yingxue gave such a treasure to Feng Yu, Long Chen couldn't help being moved. Bai Yingxue was really too kind. When the golden chariot left the Longyu territory with Wanlong's nest, Long Chen ordered the golden rhino to move forward quickly. The golden rhino let out a loud roar, and the aura belonging to the dual-pulse emperor erupted, pulling the golden chariot like a golden lightning bolt, and headed toward the wilderness. When the golden chariot speeds up, all the 10,000 dragons' nests speed up accordingly, and the whole team moves forward mightily. After the golden rhino has been running for half a day, the atmosphere ahead suddenly changes. A wave of energy with the air of the ancient prehistoric rushed towards his face, and Long Chen suddenly felt refreshed. At the same time, everyone in the golden chariot felt something strange. Especially Yu Zifeng, who was meditating cross-legged with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes, and his eyes were like lightning. The law here. The sword cultivator's perception is the most acute. He felt the changes in the aura and laws of heaven and earth in an instant. Just now, they seem to have passed through a barrier. The aura here has undergone a qualitative change, and the laws of heaven and earth have also changed. The moment they entered here, the dragon blood in the dragon blood warriors' bodies began to surge uncontrollably and became extremely active. It's no wonder that superpowers are hidden in the depths of the wilderness. It seems that only such terrifying aura and laws of heaven can support such a powerful existence. Long Chen felt awe-inspiring. Just entering the edge of the wilderness, Long Chen already felt that his spiritual blood, spiritual roots, and spiritual bones seemed to have received some kind of strange call and began to slowly wake up. The circulation speed of purple blood, dragon blood, and colorful supreme blood also began to gradually accelerate, and the muscles, bones, and meridians seemed to be changing, which was shocking. This is the edge of the wilderness, so what kind of scene will it be in the depths of the wilderness? At the same time, Long Chen also understood why Brahma was recuperating in the depths of the wilderness. Entering the great wilderness means that you are about to enter the sight of Brahma, so you have to be careful. Qian Kuan-Ding reminded. Be careful, I'm here, hack them to death, Long Chen, kill me fiercely, let me unlock the second form as soon as possible, then we will join forces and cross the world. Those who follow me will prosper, and those who oppose me will perish. Brahma, only worthy of groaning under our feet. Long Gu Xie said indifferently. Roar. At this moment, there was a roar, and everyone's ears roared. The violent power of the gods made even the emperor and powerhouse horrified. Boom! With a bang, the ground exploded, and a monitor lizard was emitting flames all over its body, blocking the way of everyone. The monitor lizard looked at the golden rhinoceros, and the flames burst out all over its body, distorting the space continuously. Fire-horned lizard, isn't this a low-level monster? How can it grow so big? Guoran and the others were stunned when they saw the flaming horned lizard. The flame-horned lizard's highest strength is usually only in the immortal king realm, but this fire-horned lizard turned out to be a dual-pulse heavenly saint level, which immediately stunned everyone. No, why is this fire-horned lizard missing a leg? Xiachen suddenly saw that one of the fire-horned lizard's backs had disappeared, and there were colorful scars on the wound. When he saw that scar, Long Chen's eyeballs were about to protrude. Chapter 5248 Flames circulated all over the fire-horned lizard's body. The bony spurs on its back opened, and it released a berserk aura. It assumed a fighting stance and roared at the golden rhinoceros. Obviously, what it fears the most here is the golden rhinoceros, and when Long Chen saw its missing hind legs, he opened his mouth wide. One of the horned lizard's hind legs had disappeared, and the wound was still oozing blood. There was an old scar there, and it seemed that it burst open due to excessive force. On the wound, there remained 7-color divine brilliance, and Long Chen instantly sensed that it was the wound left by the power of the 7-color supreme blood. Daddy Long Chen's heart beat wildly. Although the aura was gone, Long Chen could still tell at a glance that it was his father's aura. He didn't expect that his father also entered the great wilderness from here, and he also met this dual-veined emperor-level flame-horned lizard and cut off one of its hind legs. Father, this is too strong. Long Chen looked shocked. Long Chen went from the mortal world to the immortal world, and met countless strong men, but the only person who could stand shoulder to shoulder with the great emperor was Long Zhantian. When Long Zhantian met Long Chen in a hurry in front of the Nine Heavens passage, the power he displayed at that time was only capable of severely injuring the heavenly sage. Calculating the time, it took him only a month or so at most to leave from there and come here. It is impossible for his strength to improve so much at once. That is to say, Long Zhantian already has that strength, but he has not revealed it. Father, your unique skill of pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger is too strong. Long Chen looked at the wound that was still bleeding, and all that Long Chen had left for this father was endless admiration and admiration. The old man has endured for so many years, soaring into the sky, as if there is nothing in this world that can cover up his brilliance. Thinking back when my father hid his strength and went to the Long family, if the Long family really dared to resist, his father could overthrow the entire Long family with one hand. Ho 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 ho! Surrounded by the dragon clan's 10,000 dragon lair, the fire-horned lizard became irritable and kept roaring, as if it would strike at any moment. Boss, do you want to take it down? Guoran and the others became impatient. The rear of Wanlong's nest is in the formation, and the Dragon Blood Legion will make a move. Long Chen said. With so many 10,000 dragon nests mobilized by the Dragon Clan, not to mention that the fire-horned lizard was already injured, even in its heyday, if so many 10,000 dragon nests attacked together, it would be killed instantly. Kill! The Dragon Blood Warriors were waiting for Long Chen's order, and with Long Chen's acquiescence, Gu Yang was the first to rush out with a long spear in his hand. Like a bolt of lightning, he threw himself in front of the fire-horned lizard. Boom! The flaming horned lizard ignored Gu Yang, but used the flaming horns on its head to block Gu Yang. In its eyes, the only thing that could threaten its life was the golden rhinoceros. Boom! With a bang, the fire-horned lizard obviously did not expect that Gu Yang possessed such terrifying power. The spear with black patterns in Gu Yang's hand was the magical weapon that Guoran had just created for him. Because Gu Yang didn't have a weapon in hand, this rough embryo can only be used by Gu Yang. Although it is a rough embryo, it is surprisingly heavy and hard because of the fine gold in the Hell Evil Spear. The fiery horned lizard was caught off guard, and was shot by Gu Yang on the horn. The huge force directly overturned its towering body, and the earth was shaken to pieces. When Gu Yang hit violently, those Dragon Clan Emperor-level powerhouses were taken aback. Although they had seen Gu Yang make a move before, they were not so strong. Did he deliberately hide his strength before? In fact, Gu Yang didn't hide his strength, but when he was fighting in Longyu, he didn't have a weapon in his hand, and a strong man like him, if he didn't have a weapon in his hand, he couldn't use his strength at all. Now facing the double-veined Emperor-level beast, and Long Chen personally pressing the battle, he naturally shot without reservation and broke out with all his strength. The power of this blow surprised everyone, but Gu Yang was also so shocked that his tiger's mouth split open, his blood surged, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This fire-horned lizard was too terrifying, and the countershock force was hard to resist. Boom boom boom. By Shirshir, by Xiaola, Li Qi, Song Mingyuan, Guoran and others made their moves one after another. This is a dual-pulse emperor-level monster, and its breath will make people instinctively fear. As a strong man, he must face this kind of fear, so this kind of opportunity must not be missed, and the Dragon Blood warriors also followed the crowd. However, Yu Zifeng and Xiachen didn't make a move. Yu Zifeng didn't need this kind of experience, and Xiachen didn't have many talisman seals in stock, so he needed to use them sparingly. Roar, the fire-horned lizard was forced to back again and again, unable to fight back. It suddenly let out a terrifying roar, opened its mouth wide, and a ball of flame emerged from its mouth. When seeing the ball of flame, Long Chen surprised in my heart. This is its natal supernatural power. If it is released, everyone will be in danger. However, just when Long Chen was about to make a move, suddenly the space trembled, the universe was turned upside down, and the whole world was distorted in a large area. The huge fire-horned lizard turned around strangely. Aim at the ground. Boom! With a bang, the blow of the fire-horned lizard actually sprayed on the ground was pierced, and it was overturned by its own counter-spray force. Seeing this surprising and funny scene, Long Chen was stunned, and there is such an operation? Xiao Lu, well done. Guoran yelled. What's the point of praising it? Without me, he wouldn't be able to use this trick at all. Just as Guoran finished speaking, the little fox standing on by Xiaole's shoulder yelled unconvinced. Of course, Xiaojiu, you did a better job. Guoran laughed. Xiaola was originally a child, but this Xiaojiu was even a child. Boom! Gu Yang and the others frantically attacked the fire-horned lizard, but they tried to avoid the vital points in their attacks. They were not willing to let such a precious partner die just like that. The fiery horned lizard roared wildly and attacked desperately, but it was still unable to escape the control of the crowd, and it was always suppressed and beaten. An hour later, the fire-horned lizard roared again and again, panting frantically. Its breath began to drop rapidly, the wound on the broken leg burst open in a large area, and its fighting power became weaker and weaker as the old injury recurred. After another hour, the Dragon Blood Legion gradually withdrew from the battle, and began to let Buying Xue and other dragon arrogances take over the battle. This opportunity is too rare. Without Long Chen, they would have no chance to fight against monsters of this level. In the beginning, they were so oppressed by the coercion of the double-veined emperor that they couldn't breathe, and some even dared not make a move, but with the guidance of the Dragon Blood warriors, they gradually got used to it. Half a day later, this terrifying flame-horned lizard collapsed to the ground without any strength from being suffocated. At this time, Long Chen took out the dragon bone Xieyu and pierced its head with one blow. Soul Search, Long Chen formed a seal with one hand, and the power of his soul exploded. At 8 p.m. this Saturday, Lao Mo will give away 8 signed physical books in the Douyin live broadcast room. Search on Douyin, Ordinary Magician, follow the live broadcast, and try your luck. Chapter 5249 Long Chen's soul power erupted, crushing the flame-horned lizard's soul fragments with one blow, and probing its memory, but, just as Long Chen expected, this flaming-horned lizard should have been only in the Immortal King realm. Because of chance, it mutated and advanced to this realm, but its intelligence is still very low, and its memory is chaotic. Long Chen only saw some of the brightest things in its soul deep memory fragments. One of the fragments is that it swallowed a strange fruit. According to Long Chen's calculation, this should be the reason for its mutation. As for the other fragment, it was a picture of a colorful long sword flying across the void, and then one of its legs flew out, and the flames all over its body rose, and it flew away through the air. From that picture, Long Chen vaguely saw his father's figure. It is estimated that the fire-horned lizard used its natal supernatural power to escape immediately after being injured, so it did not die in Long Zanshan's hands. But in this fierce battle, it didn't use the escape magic power. Long Chen guessed that it was because after losing a leg, Its origin was greatly damaged and it couldn't be used, so it died in the hands of everyone. Although the figure was blurry, Long Chen was sure that that person was his father. Knowing that his father was so powerful, Long Chen was completely relieved. In the back, Long Chen also saw some pictures. In those pictures, Long Chen saw a group of dragon disciples being chased and killed by this flaming horned lizard. Perhaps because it happened just now, the picture was relatively clear. Long Chen saw these dragon disciples, and they were fixed by the imperial power of the fire-horned lizard. The dragon disciples had no escape and fought desperately. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the fire-horned lizard's old injury recurred, and the laws attached to Long Zanshan's purple blood power made it excruciatingly painful and twitched all over, so the disciples of the dragon clan took the opportunity to escape. When Long Chen shared these pictures with everyone, the faces of the strong dragon clan changed drastically. These children were almost wiped out. Obviously, their combat experience and survival experience were seriously insufficient, and they entered in the great wilderness. Sooner or later something will happen. Set off, Long Chen put the fire-horned lizard's body into the chaotic space, and according to the fire-horned lizard's memory, galloped towards the direction where the dragon disciples were fleeing. The strong dragon clan also sent out their bloodline perception, hoping to sense the position of the young disciples earlier. However, in the wilderness, the bloodline perception of the dragon clan was obviously much weaker. It is impossible to perceive that the dragon disciples have come here. When they learned that the disciples of the dragon clan had just entered the Great Desolation, they had encountered the flame-horned lizards of the double-veined saint level, and many of them were seriously injured. They were very anxious. The depths of this wilderness are endlessly dangerous, and these disciples may be wiped out at any time. Thinking of the terrible consequences, they immediately felt chills down their spines. The boss is sideways to the left. Long Chen drove the golden rhino forward, and suddenly a dragon blood warrior stood up and said, "Have you sensed their position?" Long Chen couldn't help asking. "I inherited the dragon soul of the hidden dragon clan. I have a strong insight ability. I can't perceive their positions, but I can perceive the life fluctuations they left behind in the places they walked," said the dragon blood warrior. Long Chen was overjoyed when he heard that, and asked him to direct the golden rhino to move forward. Within 3 hours, a roar suddenly came from the front. "It's the children of my clan," the patriarch of the Red Dragon clan shouted. Boom! The golden rhino moved forward at full speed, and at the same time its monstrous blood burst out, and the vast power of the gods surged, pulling the golden chariot roaring towards it. Boom! When the aura of the golden rhinoceros erupted, there were several huge figures in the distance, running around as if frightened. It could be seen that they were a few huge monsters, and they were frightened by the aura of the golden rhinoceros. A more terrifying monster has appeared. Oh my God, is this going to kill us? An unwilling roar came from a distance. How could this be? We haven't found our ancestors yet, and we are about to die on the way to find them. This death is too embarrassing. Brothers, don't be afraid, we didn't intend to go back alive. Come on, let's fight to the end. There were also people who knew they were going to die, but they still had the will to fight. Boom! When the golden rhinoceros appeared in front of them, and the terrifying aura made them tremble all over, the fire of fighting that had just been ignited seemed to be extinguished in an instant as if someone poured cold water on it. Both are dual-veined emperors, but the aura of the golden rhinoceros is much stronger than that of the flame-horned lizard in its heyday, otherwise, those few monsters would not be scared away by its aura. The breath of the golden rhinoceros made these dragon disciples tremble all over. Let alone fighting, even holding their weapons firmly became an extremely difficult task. At that moment, they were completely desperate. However, when they saw the golden chariot behind the golden rhinoceros, and then saw the endless 10,000 dragon nests appearing, their eyes were red with excitement. They didn't know the golden chariot, but they knew these 10,000 dragon nests, especially those 10,000 dragon nests. On the dragon's nest, there was their familiar aura. Hoo. When the patriarchs of various clans came out of the 10,000 dragons' nests, when they saw the patriarchs of the various clans, the eyes of these disciples immediately turned red. Just now, their entire army was almost wiped out. At this moment, they regretted not listening to the elders, and hated themselves for being too naive and childish. Puff plop. When seeing the patriarchs of various clans, these arrogances who had just experienced the blow of death fell to their knees one after another. A disciple of the Red Dragon clan said with a choked voice, "The disciple is stupid and ignorant, and has dragged down the brothers. I also asked the patriarch to punish him." Although the battle had just begun, and what they faced was only a lineage of king-level monsters, but they were besieged by 4 monsters at the same time, and thousands of disciples died in an instant. This disciple of the Red Dragon clan is Long Wuyong, the #1 master of the younger generation in the entire dragon domain. He has a passionate heart, and he can't stand the elders fighting openly and secretly. When he hears that the ancestors are in the depths of the wilderness, he holds up the banner he called on all his disciples to march into the great wilderness with him. In order to be able to enter the great wilderness, he did not hesitate to turn against his elders and force them to die, and even made an oath that he would definitely lead everyone into the great wilderness to find their ancestors. However, just after entering the great wilderness, he encountered the fire-horned lizard. He thought he would die, but because of the relapse of the fire-horned lizard's old injury, he escaped. Everyone panicked and came to a place to take a rest to heal the injured disciples, but they didn't know that the place where they were happened to be the habitat of the 4 monsters, and they directly attracted the 4 terrifying monsters. I have to say that they were really unlucky. Long Wuyong was full of confidence at first, but in front of this terrifying monster, he couldn't even save himself. He watched his brothers die and he regretted it. Now seeing the patriarch, he lowered his head in shame. He thought that the patriarchs were worried about them after all, and chased them to protect them, but seeing their appearance, these patriarchs felt even more ashamed. Although they are reckless and naive, they have blood and courage, and dare to fight and break through. The patriarchs have already exhausted their courage in the internal struggle. Good boy, get up quickly, we are the ones who are sorry for you, and we apologize to you. The patriarch of the Red Dragon clan supported Long Wuyong with both hands, with a face full of shame. At the same time, the patriarchs of other clans also came over one after another, helping their clansmen. Looking at the dead disciples, their hearts were pierced, they hated themselves. Why didn't they have the courage to set off with them, these children equal to died at their hands? Master Patriarch. They thought they would be severely punished, but they didn't expect these elders to comfort them gently. For a moment, they were both moved and astonished. Dragon Blood Legion listens to the order. The 4 major legions divide into 4 groups and bring back the corpses of those 4 monsters. Before they understood what was going on, they heard Long Chen's calm, domineering voice. Chapter 5250. When Long Chen issued the order, these Dragon Clan arrogances were stunned, and then they saw the 4 major legions of the Dragon Blood Legion attacking in 4 directions and roaring away. Bai Shishir, Bai Xiaola, Guoran, and Xiachen also followed out. They knew that they would not be needed, but it was good to watch the excitement. After all, to them, these monsters in the wilderness were still very impressive. Curious. Long Wuyong and the others watched a group of people with the same level of cultivation as them go after and kill 4 terrifying monsters. The expressions on their faces were as wonderful as they could be. If there is the protection of Wanlong Nest, chasing and killing these violent monsters can still be acceptable. You know, that is a terrifying existence that almost wiped out hundreds of thousands of elite powerhouses. More than 7,000 of them dare to chase kill? In fact, what they didn't know was that if it wasn't for giving the Dragon Blood Warriors a chance to practice, only 4 people would be needed to complete the task easily. Wuyong, come, let me introduce you. This is Dean Longchen and your savior. Without him, you will all die, and Longyu is completely finished. The patriarch of the Red Dragon clan told Long Wuyong, introducing Long Chen. When he learned that it was Long Chen who saved them, Long Wuyang's expression turned ugly. He was no stranger to the name Long Chen. When Baiying Xue returned to Longyu, the name had already spread throughout Longyu. At the same time, Everyone in Longyu was extremely disgusted with the name Longchen, because, with the efforts of the Dark Dragon clan and those traitors, they successfully created rumors that Longchen wanted to dominate Longyu. And the Dragon clan is proud. How could they accept a human race to rule the dragon domain? Now that Longchen came, all the royal patriarchs respected him. Long Wuyang and others felt sad, and the rumor finally came true, which made them extremely uncomfortable. But Long Wuyang is also a character, with clear grievances and grievances. Since his life was saved by Longchen, he needs to thank him. Thank you, Dean Longchen, for saving your life. After finishing speaking, Long Wuyang knelt down resolutely. When he knelt down, the elders of Longyu immediately looked at him with admiration. You must know that this Long Wuyang was extremely stubborn, otherwise he would not have fought against the high-level people to the death. You don't need to thank me. I have some connections with the Dragon clan. This shot is my duty. Long Chen waved his hand, and a purple breath emerged, dragging his body and preventing him from kneeling down. Long Wuyang's body trembled violently, supported by the purple divine radiance. His expression changed immediately, and he gritted his teeth and said, I, Long Wuyang, do not owe favors. Long Wuyang snorted coldly, the vision behind his back stretched open, and his body sank suddenly. That action startled the older generation of Dragon clan powerhouses. At first they thought, this child has actually changed sex. It was them think too much. Long Wuyang wanted to thank Long Chen for saving his life with this obeisance. He would definitely not surrender to Long Chen, but 1 yard counts for 1 yard. After one obeisance, everyone will be clear. He still wanted to leave, which shocked and angered the older generation of experts in Longyu, and the patriarch of the Red Dragon clan was trembling with anger. My Long Chen's favor is not something you can repay if you want. Facing the stubborn Long Wuyang, Long Chen also snorted coldly. Boom! Long Wuyang kneeled suddenly, and with a muffled sound, the ground exploded, but his knees were only slightly bent, and he felt an unstoppable force coming. Got to fly out? Wuyang, the patriarch of the Red Dragon clan, shouted angrily, and was about to beat up the stubborn boy, but was stopped by Long Chen. He looked at Long Wuyang and said, I declare 2 points. First, I have no desire to command Longyu, and I have no possibility of accepting you as my subordinates, because your strength is too bad, and you don't deserve to be with me. Every soldier in my Dragon Blood Legion, I can easily abuse you with one hand tied. You! Long Wuyang and the others were furious. Long Chen didn't give him a chance to speak and stretched out his second finger. Secondly, as the leader of the younger generation, with just a burst of enthusiasm, you will bring a group of people who trust you into danger and treat them as unworthy. Wisdom. Bringing into a dangerous situation, unable to turn the tide, is regarded as not brave. For the sake of one's own face, it is considered inhumane to leave the Dragon clan. To be a human being, you must start from the beginning and end with the end, give up halfway, and disregard the trust of others in you, which is regarded as unrighteous. Wu Yang was startled and angry, but he couldn't refute it, because he really made up his mind just now, and after a bow, he would leave alone. He was absolutely unwilling to be commanded by a human race like Long Chen. Unwise, uncourageous, unkind, and unrighteous, but there are so many people willing to follow you and even sacrifice their lives for your choice. Just walk away like this? Be a coward for a lifetime? How can the Dragon clan have you like this? Waste. If you want to get out, I don't need your thanks. I'm just curious, from now on, how can you live with the name of a coward? Long Chen said coldly. You and I. Long Wuyang looked at Long Chen, and at the corpse that had just been arranged in the distance. He had mixed feelings for a while, and suddenly burst into tears. To put it bluntly, no matter how strong he is, his scope of life is so large, and the things he comes into contact with are just a little bit. The setbacks he has endured are incomparable to an ordinary person. His strength is unquestionable, but his combat experience and resilience are in a mess, especially the panic he displayed when facing death, which made him feel like he was nothing. Long Wuyang set off with confidence, but now he was beaten back to his original shape by the cruel reality. Only then did he realize that he was a waste if he left the Dragon clan. For a while, he could not accept this cruel reality. Long Wuyang knelt down and wailed, and the other dragon clan's arrogances also gritted their teeth. They hated themselves for being useless. When they thought about the adverbs of pride they said when they left Longyu, now that they thought about it, they wished they could find a crack in the ground. Long Chen winked at the human sovereign powerhouses in Longyu, but the group of human sovereign powerhouses were at a loss as to what Long Chen meant. Getting up from Long Wuyang, he comforted him. "Son, I'm sorry, we are not good, we did not train you well, you are a failure. In fact, it is our failure, it is the failure of the entire Longyu. Letting you children face endless dangers is our own fault, but you can rest assured that no matter how difficult the future is, we will accompany you to face it together. If you make mistakes together, you will die together if you die together. Yes, yes, no matter what difficulties, we have to face them together." At this time, the other patriarchs came to their senses and came to comfort them one after another. Receiving everyone's comfort, this group of dragon clan's arrogances were immediately so moved that they could no longer hold back their tears, and they confessed their mistakes to the elders in the clan one after another. The atmosphere of Longyu showed an unprecedented unity and harmony. Boom, 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 boom. Just when everyone was immersed in the joyful atmosphere, for explosions sounded, and terrifying blood rushed to their faces. For beasts like mountains were thrown on the ground. The first monster, the eyeballs are about to protrude. Chapter 52-51. How much time has passed? For half an hour at most, the 4 terrifying monsters were killed just like that. If they didn't know these terrifying big monsters, they would even suspect that the Dragon Blood Legion randomly took out 4 corpses to pretend to be a fraud. What shocked them the most was that the 4 terrifying big monsters had only 1 fatal wound on their bodies, and all of them were killed with 1 blow. It turned out that in order to maximize their profits, the Dragon Blood Warriors still forced out all their unique moves first, exhausted all their strength, and finally killed them. In order to ensure the integrity of the corpse without destroying the crystal nucleus and inner alchemy, and to preserve the energy of the corpse as much as possible, they were very straightforward in their actions, just as professional as a butcher. When the 4 corpses were unveiled, and completely shocked this group of ignorant dragon clan arrogances, Long Chen put the corpses away. Sure enough, after this deterrence, the group of children became much more honest. They no longer had the arrogance and disobedience they had before, and there was only shock and awe in their eyes. When I saw this group of little guys who were fearless and fearless, they were honest. The older generation of powerhouses in Longyu looked at me and I looked at you, and I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. They couldn't deter these little guys. It's not because of low morals and low expectations, but because of lack of strength. If you want to be an excellent commander, strong strength is the foundation. Without this foundation, nothing can be discussed. Of course, if Long Chen wasn't strong enough, he wouldn't be able to command the monsters of the Dragon Blood Legion at all. This group of strong men of the older generation had completely seen the horror of the Dragon Blood Legion. These Dragon Blood warriors are impeccable in terms of strength, resourcefulness, combat experience, and teamwork. Even the strongest human emperors will feel scalp numb when facing Dragon Blood warriors one-on-one. They know that their comprehensive strength is far above them, but once they encounter a life-and-death battle, the probability of dying in their hands is very high. Especially the Dragon Blood warriors, when facing the terrifying powerhouse, they show calmness and fearless. Both look scary. Dean Long Chen, what are we going to do next? The patriarch of the Bailong clan asked. Wuyang and the others were injured, and they were extremely exhausted. It's not suitable for long-distance travel now, so you can settle down here for a while. Long Chen said. Dean Long Chen, are you leaving? Long Chen's words shocked all the experts in Longyu. I don't know when Long Chen has become the backbone of Longyu. Without Long Chen, they panicked all of a sudden. Those who are seriously injured can heal their injuries here first. Those who are not serious and willing to move can follow us and hunt the surrounding monsters. Long Chen said, Our injuries are nothing, we want to participate in the hunt. Long Wuyang and the others regained their spirits when they heard that they were going to hunt the big monster, and hurriedly said. At this time, they no longer had the wariness they had before. They only had respect for Long Chen, and there was still a trace of admiration. Strong strength is always the easiest bargaining chip to gain respect. All the 10,000 dragon nests landed in a specific formation. This was also a rehearsal. It was impossible for them to rush directly into the depths of the wilderness in one go. They had to be prepared for a long-term battle. All kinds of battle modes, defense modes, garrison order, etc. need to be done well. As a result, the first time the formation was arranged, the dragon race powerhouses were embarrassed. No matter how they are arranged, there will be defensive loopholes, and the various races cannot respond to each other. Once an enemy invades, there will be problems in cooperating with each other when going out to battle. Long Chen was quietly watching them in a hurry, and the patriarchs of all clans were so anxious that sweat came down their foreheads. It took a full half a day to figure out a relatively complete formation, and then it was completed after rehearsal and corrections. By this time, a day had passed. At that moment, the human emperors of the Dragon Clan were so ashamed that they had no place to criticize those young disciples. Especially when Long Chen looked at them blankly, they felt like they were going crazy. When the layout was completed, Xia Chen and Guoran came over, gave some suggestions, and made another adjustment and modification. I have to say that the expert's shot is different. After the rectification, the entire formation suddenly became impeccable, and the loopholes were completely filled. After the arrangement, Long Chen stayed in the camp, the Golden Rhino pulled the Golden Chariot, and the Dragon Blood Legion and a group of Longyu disciples rushed out of the camp. The human sovereign powerhouses in Longyu watched the disciples leave helplessly. In fact, they also wanted to go, but the people who went hunting were all young people, and they couldn't hold back their face and begged Long Chen. The Dragon Blood Legion itself is strong enough, and there is a super terrifying strongman like Yu Zifeng. Long Chen is very relieved. Besides, there is a golden rhinoceros. As long as it is in the peripheral area, safety is absolutely guaranteed, so Long Chen did not follow they go out together. Long Chen discovered that after entering the Great Desolation, the heavenly Tao began to change. This change made his cultivation show signs of a rapid breakthrough. That is to say, cultivating here will get twice the result with half the effort. Others practice fast, so Long Chen needs to hurry up, otherwise the realm will be thrown too far. Don't let you follow them, you don't have to complain, I have benefits for you. Long Chen said. Long Chen gathered the human sovereign powerhouses of all races. When everyone heard this, they were surprised and happy. Although they didn't know Long Chen very well, they knew that if Long Chen wanted to benefit them, it would be extremely amazing. Long Chen said, however, if you want my benefits, you may have to pay a huge price. You must first be mentally prepared. I have a pill, and you can refine the Pahuang pill with your Niling blood essence as a guide. After eating this pill, you will advance to the rank of Double Pulse Emperor. What? Originally, everyone was sitting, but as soon as Long Chen's words fell, everyone stood up all of a sudden, their faces were full of disbelief, and many people even trembled with excitement. Long Chen said solemnly, don't be too excited, after taking this pill, it will stimulate all the potential in your blood, muscles and bones, and you have a 90% chance of breaking through the current shackles, condensing 2 imperial veins, and advancing to double veins. However, this elixir also has a fatal flaw, that is, once you advance, your cultivation in this life will probably be fixed at the double-veined emperor forever, and the chance of advancing again will be extremely slim. We have been stuck in this state for countless years. We have long since despaired of the Shuangmai emperor, and Shuangmai is already a distant dream for us. If you can help us advance to dual veins, These human emperor powerhouses were so excited that they couldn't speak. They found that thousands of words could not express their gratitude to Long Chen. Come on, give me your Ni Lin's blood, and I will make alchemy for you. After Long Chen finished speaking, he directly took out the Qiankuan cauldron. At that moment, it became difficult for everyone present to breathe. Chapter 52:52, Boom. The Qiankuan cauldron trembled slightly, and under the witness of the strong dragon clan, An elixir with a blood-colored main body and golden lines shining on the outer edge appeared. When this elixir appeared, the powerful imperial prestige made everyone's hearts tremble. This elixir actually possessed the aura of a double-veined emperor. This, the human sovereign powerhouse of the Red Dragon clan, watched with his own eyes the elixir refined by mixing his blood essence with more than 300 kinds of precious medicines, and was speechless for a while. This elixir has the same blood fluctuations as his, but its aura is countless times vaster than his. Go to retreat after eating it. Long Chen handed the Pahuang pill to the patriarch of the Red Dragon clan. The patriarch of the Red Dragon clan took the Pahuang pill respectfully, saluted Long Chen before turning around and leaving. Seeing this scene, everyone's hearts were burning, and they no longer had any doubts about Long Chen's words. In fact, they already had great trust in Long Chen, but they couldn't believe that there was a kind of elixir in this world that could break through their countless years of shackles and become a double-veined emperor. Now they believed it. Immediately afterwards, the second Dragon clan's human emperor handed over his blood essence, and Long Chen continued to make alchemy. "Senior, if we do this, will Lord Dragon Emperor be unhappy?" Long Chen whispered to Qiankuan Cauldron. "I don't understand. Although it is extremely disappointed with these descendants, they are also its descendants no matter what. How can it be completely ignored? It is a face-saving guy, and it is impossible for it to directly or indirectly imply that you help them, but you need to take the initiative yourself," Qiankuan Ding said. Long Chen suddenly understood that his feelings were due to his own slow reaction. He thought that the Dragon Emperor was extremely disappointed with them and had already broken the jar. Thinking about it now, Lord Dragon Emperor is angry. How could he really ignore his descendants? When did my EQ become so low? The refining of the Pahuang pill was proposed by the Qiankuan Cauldron. Long Chen originally thought that the Qiankuan Cauldron wanted to improve himself by refining this elixir. It seems that this is only one of the reasons, and the bigger reason is to remind himself. After Qiankuan Ding made such a small move, Long Chen suddenly understood and secretly made up his mind that he had to treat the disciples of Longyu, otherwise, how could he be worthy of the care of Lord Dragon Emperor for so many years, and he was worried that he would have no chance to repay him. No, this is an opportunity coming. With the cooperation of Long Chen and Qiankuan Ding, one by one broken emperor elixirs were refined. Today's Qiankuan Ding refines this kind of imperial elixirs without any effort, and after Long Chen advances to immortality, the power of the soul is boundless. The power of the dragon's blood is powerful, and it is enough to inject only a trace of the power of the emperor's blood each time, and the consumption is very small. In less than a day, hundreds of Pahuang pills have been completed. It has to be said that the foundation of Longyu is still very strong. Some human emperors who are older than these patriarchs have been invited. Originally, they have experienced endless years, and their lifespan is about to dry up, and they have begun to seal themselves. They will only be awakened when Longyu is in crisis. At that time, it will be the last glorious moment of their lives. When they learned that they could break through the dual veins, they almost beat up those who awaken them. Can such nonsense be believed? However, when they saw the Pahuang pill, they were completely excited. After getting the elixir, they immediately returned to Wanlong's nest for retreat. At this time, the Dragon Blood Legion had returned with the first batch of prey, and among them was a black-scaled evil dragon with an extremely terrifying aura. "Don't dare to approach. You took them to revenge?" Long Chen looked at the huge black-scaled evil dragon and couldn't help but look at the golden rhinoceros. "No, we happened to encounter it just about to attack a blood eagle, and then there was a conflict. This guy is stronger than before. Without everyone's help, I can't beat it at all," the golden rhinoceros said with lingering fear. It didn't expect to bump into the black-scaled evil dragon here, and it didn't expect that during the time it was recuperating, this black-scaled evil dragon was so powerful that it felt that this guy had already touched the three-veined emperor. Threshold. Long Chen inspected their corpses and said solemnly, "These monsters we killed have more or less residual medicinal power in their bodies. And the elixir remaining in the body of this black-scaled evil dragon is extremely strong. It must have taken a lot of elixir, and this elixir was all provided by Brahma Pill Valley, it seems that Brahma Pill Valley's hand has reached out to the wilderness. But the strange thing is that they seem to have just started to do it, otherwise, these monsters would have been controlled by them long ago. It's really strange. If they use this method to control more Emperor-level monsters, we can't deal with them at all when they attacked last time? Guoran also asked with a puzzled expression. Things are a bit strange, it is puzzling. Long Chen pondered for a while, his fingers were stained with the blood essence of the black-scaled evil dragon, and he studied the composition of the elixir in the blood. In the end, a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. Emotions, the Brahma Pill Valley cannot refine the real human Emperor Pill, and can only rely on the medicinal effect of the holy pill to influence these monsters. In this way, the problem has been found. The effect of the holy pill on the Emperor will be greatly reduced, and the effect will be very slow. They should have already started to plan, but the effect of the medicine is too slow, and they can't afford to wait. Moreover, they are not sure that they can successfully control these monsters, and they should still be in the experimental stage. If I guess correctly, the target of their influence on these monsters is not Lingxiao Academy, but Longyu. Longyu? Everyone was taken aback. Bai Shishir exclaimed, I see, this place is the closest to Longyu. You only need to use pills to control these monsters to make them go berserk. Then Longyu will be the first to suffer. After hearing Bai Shishir's words, the strong men in Longyu turned pale with fright. If this is the case, it would be too dangerous. No matter how strong Longyu is, how can it withstand the impact of so many monsters? After disposing of these corpses, the Dragon Blood Legion set out again. This time, Long Chen specially told Guoran and the others that the Dragon Blood warriors had almost finished their training, and asked them to practice these Dragon Clan's arrogance. Because time is tight, it is impossible for them to become masters overnight. At least they must be taught the most basic skills on the battlefield. Anyway, teach them as much as possible, don't hide it. After all, dragon blood is also flowing in the bodies of dragon blood warriors. To put it bluntly, everyone is their own. Guoran immediately understood that everything was on him. After Guoran and the others left, Long Chen directly took out the Nirvana pill and started pouring it. Long Chen secretly said in his heart, while they are busy hunting, I will attack the saint first, and this time I will be ahead of everything. Chapter 52-53, Boom. There was a loud bang in Long Chen's body, and his aura suddenly rose a lot. The air entered the blood, and the power of the blood was surging. The void around Long Chen kept twisting. Countless dragon-shaped runes flickered non-stop. In order to thank Long Chen, the Bailong clan gave Long Chen the most powerful Wanlong nest in the clan. This Wanlong nest is a huge spirit-gathering array. At the same time, there are 360 human emperors and heroic spirits guarding them, gathering the blessings of all kinds of ways, and practicing here will make the effect twice the result with half the effort. Buzz! As Long Chen's aura surged, the endless dragon-shaped runes in the entire Wanlong nest kept flickering, and the sacred power was attached to Long Chen's body, allowing Long Chen to adapt to the soaring strength as quickly as possible. The law of the wilderness will make the speed of practice faster, and with the White Dragon Clan's Wanlong nest, the speed of practice will be increased to the extreme. Long Chen felt the surging breath in his body, and couldn't help being excited. In just 3 days, Long Chen has advanced to the immortal 7th heaven, and the improvement of the realm has made Long Chen's aura grow wildly. And qi is the most fundamental thing for a practitioner. The combination of qi and blood is called qi and blood. The power of the two complements each other. The stronger a person's breath is, the stronger his flesh, muscles, and bones will become. The improvement of the realm will make all the power of Long Chen rise, and the improvement of Long Chen's realm is all because of the passive improvement of the devouring Niechong Dan. The energy of Niechong Dan is constantly perfecting the 8 stars, and at the same time, there is excess power leaking out, which will stimulate Long Chen's cultivation base to grow slowly. The so-called slowness is relatively speaking. Although the energy that a pill can bring to Long Chen is extremely limited, Long Chen can't hold back the pill like a long whale sucking water. Long Chen's cultivation was growing crazily, and with the help of the sacred power of the White Dragon clan's 10,000 dragon nest, Long Chen didn't feel that his aura was vain, so he kept devouring the elixir crazily. Anyway, during this period of time, the pills that Kine Kunding and Huolinger helped him refine had already piled up into a mountain, so he just had to take charge of eating them. 8 heavens. 9 heavens. 10 heavens. 11 heavens. After a month passed, Long Chen abruptly raised his realm to the 12th heaven, but at the 12th heaven, Long Chen finally stopped. Feeling my own breath, I began to become vain and uncontrollable. Although the aura is getting stronger and stronger, Long Chen can't fully control it, and it is gradually beyond Long Chen's control, so he must stop. After such a long time of devouring Niechong Dan, when the 8 stars behind Long Chen were summoned, it was as if 8 suns had been summoned. Around these 8 huge stars, there are countless tiny stars entangled. These tiny stars all flow from the sea of stars in Long Chen's dantian. Looking at this posture, it seems that all the stars will be attracted by the 8 stars, and all of them will be displayed outside the body. Could it be that releasing all the stars outside is the real 8-star battle body? Looking at the endless star sea flickering in his dantian, Long Chen fell into deep thought. Long Chen discovered that now that the stars surround the 8 stars, the power of the 8 stars was improved at first, but then gradually there was no movement. Long Chen didn't even know whether the improvement of the 8-star power was due to its continuous self-improvement or because of these tiny stars. Don't worry about that much, we can only find out what's going on after drawing out all the stars in the sea of stars. Long Chen looked at the stars in the sea of stars and secretly said, although some stars have been drawn out of the body, but in terms of the total amount, it is less than 1%. It seems that by the time the 8 stars complete the great consummation, I'm afraid I've already advanced to the heavenly sage. Long Chen has now reached the peak of the immortal realm, and is about to break through to the saint, and enter the second realm of the immortal 6th realm. According to this ratio, even when he advances to the heavenly sage, the 8 stars may not be able to achieve great perfection. Long Chen chose to go out, thinking that he would become the only one in the Dragon Blood Legion, the only one who advanced to Dzogchen, but he didn't expect that when he came out, he found that everyone in the Dragon Blood Legion had already advanced to Dzogchen. Wow, boss, you have advanced to the immortal peak. Guoran and others couldn't help being a little surprised when they saw that Long Chen's realm was the same as theirs. After all, the improvement speed of Long Chen's cultivation base has always been horribly slow, and sometimes they have to wait for Long Chen for a long time in order to survive the tribulation with the boss. After hearing Guoran's words, Long Chen almost lost his temper. He tried his best to improve, but he didn't surpass the crowd, but barely caught up with them. Long Chen looked calm and authentic. During this time, I haven't practiced much, and I have been comprehending the great Brahma Sutra. Let me just say, if you concentrate on cultivating, boss, you should have broken through to the saint long ago. After all, everyone has been hunting around, and there are fewer and fewer prey around. Xia Chen and I stopped leading the team and started to build equipment. Guoran said. Guoran's words almost didn't make Long Chen vomit blood. I don't know if this guy is showing off on purpose. While hunting and building equipment, his cultivation base has advanced to the peak of immortality. There are many ways to humiliate people, but this is the only one. The most uncomfortable thing for Long Chen. Boss, in this wild world, our cultivation has started to go wild uncontrollably, which makes us a little scared. I was thinking, if those creatures in the wilderness were nourished by this law all the year round, to what extent would their strength reach? Guoran said with a worried expression on his face. Long Chen nodded. Guoran actually knew how to be prepared for danger in times of peace. He also discovered that the laws of the great wilderness are completely different from those of the outside world. The speed of practice here is too fast, which is disturbingly fast. A few days ago, because we really had no prey to kill, we accidentally left the outskirts of the wilderness. We found that after we walked out of the wilderness, the breath of heaven and the laws of heaven began to make us a little uncomfortable. It felt like I couldn't breathe and my whole body became uncomfortable. I'm afraid we can't go back. Guoran said. Although we are in the same wilderness, the laws are completely different. Unless there is a change in the world, we will be suppressed when we go back. That's why the yellow rhinoceros was recuperating over there, but the more it was healed, the more injured it became, and its strength regressed greatly. However, these are not what we should consider now. Now, we have almost repaired and adapted to the environment and laws here. We have gathered everyone and are ready to go. Long Chen said. As soon as he heard that he was about to set off, Guoran immediately became excited and gave orders in a hurry. In an instant, the entire dragon clan erupted. However, when all the Longyu disciples saw their patriarch, their jaws dropped in shock. Chapter 52-54 The patriarchs of the dragon clan are no longer in the form of human beings at this moment, but giant dragons, stretching across the void, their huge bodies cover the sky, the vast energy and blood radiate, and the imperial power surges. Everyone is frightened stupid. Today's dragon clan emperors are already dual-vein emperors. At this time, they no longer need to be restricted by human shapes, and finally show their true bodies again. Human sovereign realm is named after the human race, which is the pride of the human race, but for other races, this is a fatal hurdle. I don't know this realm, how many arrogances with ideals have been stuck to death, how many heroes' dreams have been destroyed, and they obviously have a strong body, but they can't practice in human form. For them, this was too aggrieved and too helpless. When the patriarchs of the dragon clan advanced to the dual-veined heavenly saints, broke the shackles of their bodies, and restored their original bodies, their strength soared dozens of times in an instant, or even 100 times. The human sovereign realm is the biggest shackle for non-human powerhouses. Once they cross over, the power that has been accumulated for a long time will erupt like a volcano. People have witnessed the terrifying aura of the golden rhinoceros, but when these patriarchs showed their bodies at that moment, the Huangshin rhinoceros seemed too small. Hundreds of giant dragons emerged from the void, their coercion was shocking, and their chi and blood were dazzling. The scene, not to mention those dragon disciples, even Long Chen, who personally fulfilled them, was extremely shocked. Long Chen opened the shackles that bound the dragon clan, and finally saw the terrifying side that the dragon clan should have. This is the strength that the dragon clan should have. The patriarchs of all ethnic groups were even more excited. They thought that they would never have any hope of showing their bodies in this life. Now, Long Chen has fulfilled their dreams. They are also willing to die from the dust. Huang Shi, we are going to the depths of the wilderness. Thank you for your company along the way. Meeting is fate. You keep this barrier-breaking pill. When you touch the threshold of the next enchantment, you can take it, and there is a 50% chance for you to advance. Huang Shi accompanied the Dragon Blood Legion all the way for so long, escorting them, and now he is leaving, saying his final farewell. There was reluctance in Huang Zai's eyes. In fact, it also wanted to fight with Long Chen, but it knew that with its strength, it could only accompany Long Chen for a short distance. I can say goodbye with tears. The yellow rhinoceros left, and the 10,000 dragons nest was activated. Whether it was the Dragon Blood Warrior, the arrogance of the Dragon Clan, or the patriarchs of the Dragon Clan, they couldn't help but feel enthusiastic and energetic, especially these patriarchs, as if they had returned to the youth all of a sudden. And became that hot-blooded boy again. Boom! The 10,000 dragon nest roared and exploded, and the 10,000 dragon nest of the Red Dragon Clan was the first to clear the way, followed by dozens of 10,000 dragon nests surrounding the 10,000 dragon nest of the White Dragon Clan, protecting it in the center, and the 10,000 dragon nest of the White Dragon Clan inside. There are only the Dragon Blood Legion and the Tianjiao of the Dragon Clan. For the Dragon Clan, the Dragon Blood Legion and the Dragon Clan's arrogance are the future of the Dragon Clan, and they are the ones they want to protect even if they die. Countless 10,000 dragon nests roared away, piercing the sky. Driven by the patriarch of the Dragon Clan, all the runes around the 10,000 dragon nests lit up, and the coercion was astounding. The Wanlong nest has always been the biggest killer of the Dragon Clan, but the Wanlong nest left by these ancestors has always been in a semi-dormant state in the hands of the Dragon Clan, because no one can exert their true power. But it's different now. The patriarchs who have been promoted to double-vein saints have restored their own form. In this form, they can exert the strongest combat power of Wanlong Nest. Ho ho! When Wanlong Nest roared forward, there were countless roars along the way, but just after these roars were heard, huge figures were seen running desperately. They roared before because they heard the movement and sounded a warning, but when they felt the breath of the Dragon Clan, they didn't even have the courage to scream, and they ran as far as they were frightened. Seeing the Shuangmai heavenly sacred monster beast running desperately, all the strong Dragon Clan members felt very excited, especially these patriarchs. After so many years, they finally felt elated. There are so many monsters, we should touch them quietly and kill them. Bai Xiaola couldn't help feeling sorry for those monsters running desperately. Double-veined Emperor-level monsters are no longer a challenge to us. Their imperial power has almost negligible influence on us. We need to challenge stronger emperors. Bai Xiaola the little fox on the shoulder said. Gu Yang nodded and said, after such a long period of hunting, we have gradually adapted to the influence of Huangwei on us. Brothers of the Dragon Clan, the progress during this period is also very fast. They also have the strength to hunt and kill the double-veined Emperor-level monsters together, and they have overcome the most primitive panic and fear. However, their combat experience still lacks too much. Their combat instincts have not been formed, and they will still be in a hurry when encountering emergencies. This is tantamount to reporting the results to Long Chen in a disguised form. Long Chen said before, let them try to bring along these arrogances of the Dragon Clan as much as possible. After all, everyone's body is full of dragon blood. The arrogances of the Dragon Clan were excited when they heard Gu Yang's praise, but they were a little embarrassed when they heard it later. Long Chen looked at the embarrassing Dragon Clan arrogances and said, battle experience is accumulated bit by bit in life and death fights, so there is no need to worry about this. You are able to overcome your fear of death in such a short period of time, which is already very remarkable, and I am very surprised. Really? A female disciple of the Dragon Clan asked timidly. Long Chen smiled slightly and said, of course it's true. When Long Chen said this, the hearts of these dragon disciples were greatly encouraged. At this time, they had already regarded everyone in the Dragon Blood Legion as idols, because each of them was so strong that even the medical soldiers have the strength to forcibly shake the double-veined emperor. What they admire the most is that no matter what kind of danger they face, the Dragon Blood Warriors are always calm and calm. As for the Dragon Blood Warriors, the most admired powerhouse is Long Chen, especially Long Chen's praise. For them, it is simply a supreme honor. It's strange, why is the world suddenly quiet? Just as Long Chen was talking to everyone, Guoran and the others suddenly felt something was wrong, because for a long time, they didn't see any monsters running desperately. Boom! Suddenly there was an explosion in front, followed by countless neat figures appearing like a tide. It's a monster! Seeing these figures, the disciples of the Dragon Clan exclaimed. Looking at the endless monsters, Long Chen narrowed his eyes. It seems that if you want to enter the wilderness, you need to cross the endless sea of monsters. Brothers, come to work. Chapter 52-55, Roar. When the 10,000 dragons' nest flew across the void, the ground below the 10,000 dragons' nest suddenly exploded. Amidst endless roars, monsters with rocky skin, double horns on their heads, and slender limbs appeared one after another. These monsters had sheep-like heads, bone spurs on their elbows, and shone with a cold light. When the 10,000 dragons' nest appeared, these monsters rushed out of the ground as if they had been poked into a beehive. Almost instantly, the monsters all over the mountains and plains stretched to the end of the line of sight. Looking around, the whole world was surrounded by monsters. Boss, this is not right. They seem to be setting traps here. When we first came in, they didn't respond at all. When we got deep into the ground, they suddenly exploded. Facing the endless monsters, Guoran frowned. Eyebrow rode. Not only Guoran noticed something was wrong, but everyone else was also aware of this problem. At first, these monsters didn't move, not even breathing. Now they have been surrounded by endless monsters, This is a premeditated siege. The purpose is to make them come and go. Everyone has dealt with monsters before, but except for Long Chen, no one has ever encountered an organized and disciplined monster. Roar. Suddenly there was a terrifying roar from a distance, and endless monsters formed a huge net, roaring towards everyone from all directions. Judging from that roar, it seems to be a dual-pulse emperor. It should be giving orders. Guoran said. Whatever it is, these monsters should be used to block the Great Wilderness. Since we want to enter the Great Wilderness, we need to break through their blockade. Now is not the time to talk about ingenuity, it is the time to show absolute power. Come on, let's kill the devil. Let's have a moment to see how much stronger the monsters in the wilderness are than the monsters outside. After Long Chen finished speaking, he rushed out like that. When Long Chen rushed out, the Dragon Blood Warriors and the arrogance of the Dragon Clan also rushed out. The patriarchs are in charge of suppressing the formation, and the others are in charge of slaughtering demons. In the first battle of entering the wilderness to slaughter demons, everyone must make a good start. Long Chen said. After Long Chen finished speaking, he was the first to rush out. The moment Long Chen went out, a monster that was over a meter tall charged at Long Chen with demonic aura. This turned out to be an emperor-level monster, and Long Chen was slightly taken aback. This kind of ignorant creature can even advance to the rank of emperor. Boom! Long Chen opened his big hand, and the power of the stars flowed. He slapped the monster with a palm, and the monster exploded with a bang. Its body shattered like a gravel, and there was nothing in its body. How much magic blood! This is the first time Long Chen has seen such a creature. Although he killed the emperor-level monster with one palm, Long Chen was shocked by its countershock force, making his palm numb. The monster's body was like a rock. Boom, 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 boom. At this time, the Dragon Blood Warriors had already handed over these monsters. Gu Yang smashed the body of an emperor-level monster with one shot, but his tiger's mouth was also shaken to the point of blood. What the hell is this? Gu Yang couldn't help exclaiming. He had never seen such a weird monster. No way, this thing hurts 1,000 enemies, and self-damages 800. I can bear it, but the weapon can't stand it either, shouted a Dragon Clan genius. Like a saw, he was so distressed that tears were about to fall. The new weapons of the Dragon Blood Warriors have not yet been forged. They are unwilling to use the old weapons to fight hard, so they use their fists to fight these monsters. They're not made of flesh and blood, we're at a disadvantage for fighting like this, shouted Tianjiao with the Dragon Clan. To shut up, as a result, the Tianjiao of the Dragon Clan yelled, and was scolded by Long Wuyang. If you suffer a loss, you don't have to fight? If you suffer a loss, you can retreat? Boss Gu Yang said that if you want to become a strong person, you must face all kinds of harsh conditions. When you feel extremely difficult, it is the time when you are closest to becoming stronger. Cheer me up, don't expect the patriarch to help me. Were the bold words we said when we left Longyu back then all bullshit? Brothers, do you want to be as strong as the Dragon Blood Warrior? Think, following Long Wuyang's roar, all the disciples of the Dragon Clan let out a roar that shook the sky. Through this period of contact, they have already regarded the Dragon Blood Warriors as their idols. Especially when they learned that they were killed all the way from the mortal world to the immortal world, across the mountain of swords, across the sea of blood, and from endless death, they made an oath that in the future they would definitely become strong men like Dragon Blood Warriors. It is not allowed to continue to sink like this. Kill, with a wave of Long Wuyang's spear, he took the lead and led the disciples of Longyu to charge. It has to be said that Long Wuyang has a very high reputation among the disciples of Longyu. Following his order, all the disciples of Longwu fought bravely with Long Wuyang without thinking about it. Dragon Blood Legion is responsible for naming the emperor-level powerhouses, and the others are handed over to the warriors of Longyu. After Long Chen finished speaking, he stepped on the void and rushed to the distance like a bolt of lightning. There, Long Chen felt powerful coercion. Boom! Countless monsters came to Long Chen, and Long Chen waved his fists, forcibly killing a bloody path, and the encirclement of tens of thousands of miles was penetrated by Long Chen in an instant. When he rushed out of the encirclement, Long Chen saw a group of creatures. When he saw this group of creatures, a smile appeared on the corner of Long Chen's mouth. He knew these creatures, Old Demon. Although their appearances are different from those of the earth demons in the Skyfire demon realm, their soul fluctuations are almost exactly the same. When Long Chen burst out from the endless sea of monsters, these old demons lined up in an instant, blocking Long Chen's way. There are thousands of these earth demon powerhouses, all of whom are dual-vein emperors. However, these earth demon powerhouses include dozens of races, some with blue faces and fangs, and some with 3 eyes. And some have double heads, and the head is over 10 feet tall, like an iron tower, with wings on the back, holding a sky fork, and is looking at Long Chen coldly. The strong men of the Earth Demon clan looked at Long Chen with a look of shock in their eyes. Obviously, they didn't expect Long Chen to be so strong that he could tear apart the formation of monsters so easily and kill them. Human race, death is your only destiny, give up useless resistance, perhaps you can die more easily. The strong Earth Demon clan who was like a tower looked at Long Chen and said coldly. Speaking of that again, let me try to see if the dual-vein emperors in the wilderness are stronger than the dual-vein emperors outside. After Long Chen finished speaking, he walked over in such a defiant manner. Chapter 52-56, Ignorant Human Race. You are asking for your own death. Seeing that Long Chen didn't pay attention to their group of dual-veined emperors at all, the group of earth demons became excited in an instant. This is the cemetery of your human race. For countless years, I don't know how many stupid guys like you have been buried here. You are dying but you don't know it. The strong emperor of the old demon clan said coldly. It really made me guess right. It turns out that you guarded here and set up traps to prevent us from entering the wilderness. However, starting today, you don't have to continue guarding here. Long Chen said. Why? The strong emperor of the demon race didn't understand what Long Chen meant. Because you will all die here today. Long Chen approached the group of old demons step by step, his voice calm and authentic. Arrogant human race, I can't take it anymore, go to death. An emperor with 2 veins of the earth demon race finally couldn't bear it any longer. With a roar, his palm like an iron hook went straight to Long Chen to grab it. This earth demon strongman has a dark body, his limbs are as dry as branches, and he drags a long tail. When he strikes, his demonic aura soars to the sky, and his speed is as fast as lightning. The moment it struck, the surrounding space was distorted, and the magic power surged, and its coercion was even stronger than that of the yellow rhinoceros. Facing such a powerful old demon, Long Chen was overwhelmed. During this period of time, his cultivation had been rising rapidly, and his 8-star battle body was gradually becoming complete. He urgently needed a strong opponent to prove his growth during this period. Seeing the strong man of the Earth Demon clan clawing at him, Long Chen stopped drinking, stretched the 8-color divine ring behind his back, and slapped away the stars on his big hand. Boom, 1 palm and 1 claw collided, the explosion shook the sky, the air waves overlapped, and ripples came out from the gap between the 2 palms, and the wind tore through the void. The scene was amazing. However, the bodies of Long Chen and the Demon Emperor remained motionless, endless waves of energy erupted between the palms of the 2 of them, and with this blow, the 2 were evenly divided. Sure enough, Qi is the root, use Qi to transport power, use Qi to circulate blood, the breath is strong and the root Qi is sufficient, the root Qi is sufficient and the star C is full, and the star C is full and the star power is strong. If it wasn't for this blow, I wouldn't even know that my root energy is so important. Long Chen could not help being ecstatic as he felt the surge of root energy in his dantian, sending a steady stream of power into his palm. Since this qi was taken back from Long Outyen, it seems that his vitality has been seriously injured, and he could not really take root in Long Chen's dantian. But with the improvement of Long Chen's realm, the aura surged rapidly, and this group of root qi was nourished by the aura, and finally began to gradually exert its power. When the root energy is sufficient, it is like a flame, which can ignite the purple energy in the star C at any time. The purple energy burns, and the power of the stars circulates crazily. The power of dust fury. Boom boom boom. Long Chen's palms and the palms of the local demon powerhouse trembled constantly, and every tremor caused the void to roar and explode, and the power contained in the two palms changed the color of the world. The strong face of the demon race was ferocious, and he frantically increased his strength, trying to shatter Long Chen's palm, but no matter how much strength he added, he still couldn't shake Long Chen's palm. He felt that the palm of Long Chen was a sea of stars, and the feeling of vastness and bottomlessness made people feel desperate. If it increases its strength, Long Chen will also increase his strength. Long Chen is not in a hurry to fight back. He wants to use the power of the old demon to learn more about the mysteries of root energy. Among spiritual roots, spiritual blood, and spiritual bones, spiritual roots are the most mysterious. Even though Long Chen has gone from the mortal world to the fairy world, he has experienced many battles and read many books, but he still cannot give a complete definition of root qi. It is a breath like a flame, but it represents a person's talent. There are many kinds of spiritual roots. In the mortal world, there are many ways to test spiritual roots to judge a person's talent. When first entering the immortal realm, spiritual root was also a very important standard, but after entering the Fairy King, people's concept of spiritual root became more and more vague. Many people even think that spiritual root is not important, because many people have already sensed it. It no longer has the meaning of its existence. But Long Chen discovered that his spiritual root was gradually awakening, and it was bringing him a brand new feeling. Long Chen's root energy made the power of the stars run more smoothly, more stably, and more freely. With its assistance, the violent star power will reduce the load on the body, and the released power will become larger. With this discovery, Long Chen himself was stunned. Root qi has such mysterious uses. Boom, a loud bang sounded in Long Chen's palm, and the local demon powerhouse let out a muffled snort and finally lost in the competition of strength and flew upside down. At this moment, the faces of the strong men of the earth demon race changed. Although they have been in the wilderness, they have hunted here all year round and killed countless strong men of the human race, and they know the cultivation system of the human race like the back of their hands. Long Chen was just a little cultivator in the immortal realm, but with pure power he knocked back the dual-veined emperor. The emperor, who was shaken back by Long Chen, was shocked and angry at the same time. At the same time, he saw a trace of sarcasm in the eyes of some strong demons, and his anger suddenly surged. Boom! The strong man of the earth demon family opened his arms, and two magic lines appeared on his forehead. When the two magic lines appeared, his aura suddenly increased tenfold. The soaring aura of the local demon powerhouse startled Long Chen. At this moment, the voice of Kind Kunding sounded in his mind. It's nothing surprising, this is the real dual-vein emperor. The saint's heavenly veins are on the outside, and the emperor's veins are on the inside. When the emperor's veins are condensed to the extreme, they will manifest on the skin. This is an important symbol of the emperor. Because of the constraints of laws outside the wilderness, most of the emperor's veins cannot be manifested. And the emperor's veins it summoned meant that its power was not reserved at all, and its strength represented the level of ordinary dual-veined emperors in the wild world. Hearing the words of Chen Kuan-ding, Long Chen suddenly realized, and at the same time, the blood in his body began to heat up unknowingly, the general level of the dual-veined emperor in the wild world. Long Chen can finally find a reference to prove his own strength. Stupid human race, I will let you die today. Show your weapons and show your strongest state. The dual-pulse emperor of the Earth Demon clan shouted angrily. His voice formed a rolling sound wave, like crazy thunder exploded. At this moment, the demonic energy was circulating around him, and the majesty was astounding. Even the yellow rhinoceros in its heyday seemed so weak in front of him. Idiot, if I show my weapon, you will have no chance. Let the horse come here. Facing the provocation of the dual-veined emperor, Long Chen snorted coldly. Die, seeing that Long Chen refused to reveal his weapon, nor did he summon a vision, the demon emperor with two veins was furious. He stepped forward with one step and punched hard. The violent power of the emperor made the stars tremble in the sky. Chapter 52-57 Seeing the strong men of the Earth demon race come to kill him, Long Chen took a deep breath. Before, it was just the stars on the palm of his hand. Suddenly, Long Chen's body was full of stars, as if he was wearing a starry sky battle suit. When the starry sky battle suit was added, Long Chen obviously felt the heat in his dantian, and the group of root qi quickly magnified a circle, and the purple qi in the star sea seemed to be boiling, and the power of the stars rushed to Long Chen's limbs and bones in an instant. Faced with the all-out blow from the strong earth demon race, Long Chen's face was indifferent, and he still slapped it with his palm. The movement was exactly the same as before. "Stupid bastard, go to hell." Seeing this scene, the local demon powerhouse was so angry that his lungs would explode. Long Chen's posture simply didn't take him seriously. Boom! The punch of the strong earth demon clan, carrying the strength of the whole body and endless resentment, slammed into Long Chen's palm. There was a loud bang, and the starlight was shining. Long Chen's starry sky battle suit fluttered, and his long hair fluttered in the wind. However, this blow, which gathered all the strength of a dual-veined emperor, was caught just like that. What? Those strong men of the earth demon race were stunned. They couldn't believe their eyes, but the facts before them forced them to believe. Boom! The punch of the local demon powerhouse was caught. He was frightened and angry. The feeling of powerlessness came to his heart again. He roared. The two magic lines on his forehead trembled wildly, and he continued to strengthen his strength. But Long Chen turned a blind eye to the ferocious face of the local demon powerhouse. At this time, his mind was completely immersed in the starry sky battle suit. Long Chen had also used this trick before, covering his whole body with the power of the stars, but there had never been a starry sky battle suit before. Its appearance made Long Chen stunned. Feeling it carefully, Long Chen found that this starry sky battle suit has the same effect as the dragon's blood battle body. Under its blessing, the power of stars in Long Chen's body flows continuously to every corner of his body, and he can control it as he likes. The most important thing is that this starry sky battle suit is attached to Long Chen's clothes, like a projection of the starry sky, but in fact, it is a thin layer of gauze, which is qualitative, not illusory. "Ilgo, boss, you are so handsome." At this time, Guoran's exclamation came from behind Long Chen, and the voice was full of envy. It turned out that Long Chen rushed out of the siege and left the battlefield to the Dragon Blood Legion. Although there are endless monsters on the battlefield, there are not too many human emperor-level powerhouses. Although those human emperor-level powerhouses are hard, they were quickly found Achilles' heel. The fatal weakness, is actually at their exit. I don't know which pervert found it first, and then it is much easier to deal with. One person attracts their attention, one person sneak attack, one hit kills. Guoran, Xiaochen, Yu Zifeng by Shishir and others, after clearing out the emperor-level powerhouses, there would be no threat on the battlefield, and they followed suit. As soon as they came out, they saw Long Chen wearing a starry sky battle suit, receiving the full blow of the dual-veined emperor with one hand. Long Chen's battle clothes fluttered and his long hair fluttered, like a god-emperor descending to the 9 heavens. Originally, Long Chen was handsome, but now he was backed by bright stars, and there was even an ugly demon strongman as a reference, which further demonstrated his personality. Peerless and heroic. When Bai Shishir saw this scene, tenderness appeared in her eyes. The first thing Long Chen attracted her was his unrivaled demeanor. No one would not be moved by Long Chen's invincible posture. Especially in this cruel world where the weak prey on the strong, strength is a person's greatest charm, and neither men nor women can resist this charm. The most important thing is that Long Chen's starry sky battle suit is so handsome. Guoran's heart skipped a beat at that moment. He suddenly wanted to create such a handsome suit for himself. If the dragon blood battle body represents wild and domineering, then Long Chen's starry sky battle suit is based on it, with a touch of elegance and fantasy. No man can resist the temptation of the starry sky suit. Even Yu Zifeng, who has never cared about this aspect, can't help being moved at this moment. At this time, Long Chen turned a blind eye to everything outside, and his mind was completely immersed in a ball of flames in his dantian. That ball of flames was only the size of a fist. exuding a slight rhythm. This kind of rhythm is almost invisible to the naked eye, but Long Chen can feel it, because every rhythm of it will cause the stars to form tide-like fluctuations. The tidal fluctuations of the Xinghai made Long Chen's starry sky battle suit swing slowly. In its swing, Long Chen seemed to feel the trajectory of the heaven and the earth, the rhythm of the rotation of the avenue, all of which were so mysterious. "Boss, be careful." At this moment, Bai Xiaola suddenly let out an exclamation. Taking advantage of Long Chen's distraction, the Demon Clan's dual-veined emperor stabbed Long Chen's chest with his other hand. His nails were as sharp as knives, and the sound of piercing the air was painful. Puff! The old man's hand knife stabbed Long Chen's chest fiercely. No, to be precise, it stabbed Long Chen's starry sky suit on his chest. As a result, the old man screamed in pain, and his fingers were shattered by the starry sky suit. The blood splattered, but couldn't stain the battle clothes, just scattered in the void. Both the enemy and the enemy were stunned by this blow. The double-veined emperor's hand knife couldn't pierce a thin layer of sand clothes, and his fingers were shattered by the gauze clothes. However, Long Chen found that the moment the strong demon's fingers touched the gauze, the root energy in Long Chen's dantian shrank suddenly, and then the old man's fingers were shattered. Self-defense. Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. In fact, Long Chen could completely resist or dodge the old man's changing moves, but he wanted to try the beauty of this starry sky suit, but he didn't expect it to be like a formation, which could automatically defense, and this defense is frighteningly strong. Everything has changed. As I advanced to immortality and my spiritual root awakened, even the star battle body has changed. This star suit is invincible. Long Chen was so excited that he almost screamed. This discovery was too much. Exhilarating. Just when Long Chen was excited, the Demon Emperor let out a roar. At some point, he had an extra bone knife in his hand. The knife was entwined with demonic energy, tearing apart the void, and slammed into Long Chen's neck. Slash down. The Emperor of the Earth Demon Clan was close to madness at this time. He was frustrated by Long Chen continuously, but he couldn't shake Long Chen at all. This knife is entwined with demonic energy and is full of power. The blade tore through the void, and the ear-piercing sonic boom resounded throughout the universe. This knife can split mountains and mountains. However, facing such a terrifying knife, Long Chen did not dodge or dodge, even tilted his head slightly, and took the initiative to take the knife with his neck. What? Long Chen's action stunned the enemy and surprised Guoran and others. Chapter 52-58, Boom! With a loud bang, the bone knife slashed firmly at the neckline of Long Chen's neck. The boundless knife energy whizzed past in the void, and the strong wind blew the cheeks of Guoran and others with pain. However, they couldn't care about these anymore. They stared at Long Chen with wide eyes, only to see the bone knife slashing at Long Chen's neck, but Long Chen remained motionless. Tick tick tick. The blood slowly dripped down on the ground along the palm of the local demon strong man. The blood was not from Long Chen, but from the local demon strong man. It was shaken open, and blood flowed horizontally. The sound of blood dripping on the ground was very soft, but everyone could hear it clearly. Because of the deathly tranquility of the scene, everyone was stunned by this scene. This is too scary. Guoran stammered. Even he was frightened. The dual-veined emperor held the imperial weapon and launched a full-strength attack. Long Chen dared to block it with his neck. This defense is too terrifying. This starry sky suit. Long Chen was very excited. He found that the strength of the starry sky suit was completely controlled by the spiritual roots. When Long Chen encountered danger, it would automatically respond. The knife seemed to be cut on Long Chen's neck, but it was actually cut on the neckline, and when the neckline touched the bone knife, Long Chen found the spiritual root flame in the dantian, which burst out in an instant and scattered across the entire Xinghai among. At the same time, the stars on Long Chen's starry sky battlesuit lit up in an instant, and all his strength was concentrated on the neckline, which prevented the terrifying knife. However, after this blow, When the spirit root returned to its original appearance, there was a slight sign of sluggishness. Long Chen knew that so far, this kind of defense should be its limit. Moreover, Long Chen also realized that the defense of this starry sky suit is not omnipotent. If he is attacked in multiple places at the same time, the defense will be dispersed and weakened. But this does not affect Long Chen's excitement, because the root energy has just awakened, and there will be almost unlimited room for growth in the future. In the initial stage, there is such a terrifying defense, so no one knows how far it can grow in the future. Crack. Just as people watched this scene in horror, the bone knife on Long Chen's neck suddenly broke, and the blade fell to the ground. At this time, the strong man of the Earth demon race finally lost the previous fright and anger. His eyes were full of horror. He was already frightened by Long Chen, his body trembled suddenly, and he was about to back away. Puff, in the moment he stepped back, Long Chen opened his big hand, and the Keel Evil Moon emerged, and he slashed down with a knife. When the Keel Evil Moon slashed through the void, the strong man of the old demon family was split into two pieces. Even the flesh and blood of the Double Vein Emperor couldn't resist the Keel Evil Moon's cut. In front of it, the flesh and blood body was as fragile as a radish and cabbage. How can you use a sledgehammer to kill a chicken? Keel Shiyue said angrily. Long Chen almost vomited blood at the words of Longu Shiyue. He said angrily, "Didn't you say that when there is a battle scene, do you let you appear?" Dragon Bone Xiaoyu had told Long Chen before that there was a scene of fighting a strong man, and he had to summon it so that it could absorb the power of the blood soul and other energies, which would be beneficial for its growth. Now, this guy has turned his face and refused to admit it. You know, Long Chen can kill the guy on the opposite side with any shot, but Xiaoyu is not only ungrateful, but also said that. I said I was there, but I didn't say that I must participate in the battle. You just need to carry me on your back. You let me kill this kind of shrimp, do you look down on me? Longu Shiyue said. Long Chen almost didn't spit blood from it. Long Chen found that since he met the Chaos Dragon Emperor, this guy seemed to want to show his nobility everywhere, as if he wanted to compete with the Qiankuan Ding and the Chaos Dragon Emperor. Let's do it together. At this moment, the powerful members of the Earth Demon clan on the opposite side finally realized that something was wrong. Long Chen's power was beyond their imagination, and they had to work together to kill Long Chen. Boom boom boom. All the strong men of the Earth Demon clan summoned the Emperor Vein runes, and the aura of the Dual Vein Emperor burst out, rushing toward Long Chen like a tide. Kill! Long Chen yelled angrily, held the Keel Shiyue, and rushed directly into the enemy army. At this time, Guoran, Xiaqin by Shishir, Yu Zifeng by Xiaola and others also killed him. Puff puff! The divine light of the Keel Zayu's blade flowed, and those Emperor's soldiers were cut off one after another by it. The sharpness of it scared even Long Chen. Boom! The leader of the local demon clan didn't believe in evil. He held the sky fork and fought with Long Chen. As a result, 3 forks were cut off by Qiliyu, leaving only one spike, which looked weird. Extreme. Good guy, when did you become so strong? Long Chen was completely shocked by the sharpness of the Dragon Bone Evil Moon. Cut! If I wasn't any stronger, I would have been underestimated by others a long time ago. What's the point of this? When I get back to my strongest state, I'll cut off Brahma's head and use it as a urinal for you. Longu Shiyue proudly said. Half of what he said was for Long Chen, and half for Qiankuan Ding. Obviously, it is getting more and more unhappy with Qiankuan Ding now, and it has to fight for everything, lest Long Chen underestimate it. Hearing Long Gu Xie's tone, she was like a little daughter-in-law full of resentment. She couldn't help being angry and funny. This guy, why has he become so narrow-minded now? Boss, the Legion has encountered some difficulties, see if you can help solve it. Guo Ran shouted. When Long Chen heard this, he didn't even think about it, so he directly killed him back. As a result, he almost vomited blood just after rushing halfway. Only then did he realize that these fellows with feelings, seeing that the Dragon Bone Evil Moon was too sharp, killed one by one. Ruthless, I want to send Long Chen away, and they will fight these old demons by themselves. But think about it, with Dragon Bone Shiyue in his hand, these so-called dual-pulse emperors are no match for him at all, so it's better to leave them to accumulate combat experience. Long Chen didn't say anything, he didn't make any more moves, he put Kiel Xie on his back, and just helped everyone hold the battle. With Long Chen pressing the formation, Guoran, Xia Chen and the others immediately let go of their hands and feet, and fought with all their strength against the dual-veined emperor in the great wilderness. I have to say that these old demons are indeed powerful. It was also extremely difficult to kill, but with the terrifying Guy Yu Zifeng among them, everything was under control. An hour later, the last dual-veined emperor was killed here, and all the monsters over there were also wiped out, and the great battle ended. When everyone began to clean up the battlefield and Long Chen threw the endless corpses into the chaotic space, Long Chen suddenly found that the golden lotus seeds became brighter and brighter. When the golden divine light shone on Long Chen's body, at that moment, Long Chen felt that the whole world was bright. It seemed to be Long Chen's guiding light, so that Long Chen would never be confused. Boom! Just when everyone cleaned up the battlefield and planned to repair it on the spot, suddenly the ground roared and exploded, slowly cracking, and a huge altar broke out. When he saw the altar, Long Chen's heart beat wildly. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.